Right, give it all you can.
I haven't got your stream yet, so I can't see what's going on the screen quite yet. Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along to ISDA's Round 5 of the Winter GT3 Series. We are home of the Italian Grand Prix, the ever-present Monza circuit. One of the most historical circuits on the calendar this season, and I am honoured to be joined pre-race this evening by Mally. Good evening, Mally.
Hey, good evening, Tim.
And the reasons he is here is we are here to promote also Tuesday night's racing, which is in the Lamborghini STs, the Super Truffles, as I like to nickname them. New championship coming up, running throughout March, starting on the 8th of March, I do believe, at Paul Ricard, then the 15th at Imola. March 22nd is Misano, and finishing out this short season on the 29th at Monza. So nice little short season. Fill us in. Give us the details then.
Yeah, what better track to announce it than Monza, right? Yeah, we have decided to create a small championship that will run parallel to our GT3 championship, and this should be a season that will be a bit more relaxed when it comes to what we offer and what we expect from drivers. So for those of the guys who never raced with us or never raced in a season with us, this would be a perfect gateway to what we actually have to offer in our main seasons. Tuesday nights are usually reserved for one-off social events, but this time we decided to make a string of those events and put them into season. So yeah, we will do a little bit of theme season. We're going to Italy and neighboring France for with an Italian car. So it's like also a local championship thing that we want to embrace, kind of something that's a bit more, a bit less serious to the worldwide GT3 championship. We will have these 4 races. Each race will have a 15-minute qualifying session followed by a 45-minute race session. And we will not provide live stewarding though, as also the goal is to have us, the stewards, the race directors, also to partake in a season, and the goal is for the drivers to be finally able to meet us on track.
It's a really nice idea, sort of keeping it a little bit more casual, and also, like you said, giving you guys behind the scenes a chance to have a race, because obviously whenever I'm commentating I don't get a chance to have a race. So there's quite a few I see championships or one-off races come along, and I always sort of think, if I wasn't sat commentating, I could take part in that. So really cool that you guys are sort of almost taking a night off to get stuck in with the rest of the gang.
Yeah,
sadly,
but that's not the primary point. Just don't want to cause any confusion here. The primary point is for the drivers to have a bit more relaxed atmosphere, and why not meet us also as competitors this time?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it sounds like an absolutely fantastic idea. So a great way of, like you said, so slightly less stressful, short season, not so much at stake. And to be fair, the Super Trofeos are great fun cars. They do get missed, I think. I think everyone quite often leaves those in the Porsche Cup cars to the side. They're kind of the unsung heroes. But no, the Super Trofeo is a brilliant car to drive. Really good for building confidence, because it's a little bit slower than a GT3 car. So you can just build your confidence up, because you're not trying to go quite as fast through some of the circuits. So I think it'd be a nice change of pace for everyone, but they're not quite as sluggish as a GT4 car. So they're a nice in between. I definitely have enjoyed racing them in the past. So as I said, a little bit sad that I can't join in with you guys on this one.
Well, there's an open invitation for you. Yes, the ST is very much overlooked by a lot of communities, a lot of drivers, and even if it's not GT3, if it's not GT4, most of people will go for the Cup car, for the Porsche Cup. This puts Lambo ST very, very low on cars that are used elsewhere. But yeah, it's a very underrated car because it embodies the GT3 characteristics. It's lightweight. It's got a very sporty engine. For example, GT4s are mostly heavy and sluggish and everything, but this car is very light, very easy to drive, but still does not have the complicated aero part of the whole experience. So it's easier to set up and it's easier to race it closer to everyone.
Yeah, so I think I've raced it once before in a rookie league, and it was, like I said, great for sort of learning circuits that you weren't quite so common with. I mean, I would say Monza is probably one of the circuits that I imagine every single ACC racer knows like the back of their hand. I don't think there's a public lobby that isn't either Monza or Spa, so everyone should know this one. Yeah. But for this slightly more obscure circuit, can be really good. And some of the circuits, obviously, that you've got on the list, Paul Ricard is going to be really good there. So some real fast flying corners. Say, Imola, going to be great there to see everyone battling their way through the chicanes. Misano, again, great circuit for it. Sort of a real good circuit for a real nice selection of slow corners, fast corners. So real nice chance for people to get to grips with it. And then obviously Monza to round out the series at the end of March. It's the home of motorsport, realistically, isn't it? I mean, everyone knows Monza.
And everyone loves Monza, I think.
I'm slightly reserved on Monza, mainly because I'm awful at the circuit.
Oh yeah, it's
all to commentate on and watch racing there. I'm just absolutely awful at racing it myself.
Well, it's not, how can I put it? It's not very hard to be fast on Monza, but there are these chicanes that make your experience really bad, and actually in these chicanes you will find the most of time compared to everyone else, because I don't know, like 90% of the lap you're on full throttle just shifting gears, but then it comes to this 10% where you have to brake, where you have to use every centimeter of the track absolutely to your maximum, spot on braking, spot on full throttle, and this is where the differences are made. So it's actually, I find it really hard because it's so technical indeed. But you mentioned earlier that you would not be able to come for this championship for this season. Don't worry, we actually plan throughout this year to have at least, I think, 3 seasons of this kind, these mini seasons, these fun seasons. And yeah, we'll actually soon announce even more racing here. So I would like to say hello to everyone that's watching right now, say goodbye to you guys, and invite everyone to join our Discord, to sign up on our dashboard, and come here, let's have fun, let's race together, and let's enjoy it to the maximum.
Fantastic. Thank you ever so much for joining us. I believe you are off to the race booth now to go and judge everyone's incidents. So yeah. Good luck this evening. And so hopefully it should be nice, clean racing. It normally is here. Some real close and tight, clean racing with ISDA. So you have fun in your race control booth, and I will be here yelling at the TV screen, letting you know what's going on.
Now it's time to turn on my serious voice saying this is race control, and and I'll leave you to it.
Fantastic. We'll see you later with a much more serious tone to your voice.
Yes, you have a good one.
Thank you, mate. Right, so just over 10 minutes left of qualifying. Times are rolling in thick and fast. Obviously, this is round 5, brought to you by Sim Racing Pro. And at the moment, our current best lap is a 1:48.2 by Mex. He is out and about at the moment. Who are we on board with now? We're on board with Zach at the moment. Zach currently running in 8th place, with his best time being a 1:48.9. So, having a look at the timing board, the top 11 are within 1 second of each other. So, really nothing between these guys whatsoever. Look at Zach on. He is neither green or red. He is absolutely bang on his previous pace. So we'll keep a little eye on the sector times and let you know how it's going. Throwing himself into that second chicane now. As we were saying earlier on, a real difficult circuit. It's you'd think it'd be really easy, but it's not. You've got a lot of these long flying corners. Very easy to get on the throttle too early and sort of mess up your exit or grab too much inside curb. Oh, there we go, and a mistake from Zach. Oopsie daisy, not what he wanted. Turned in, the car just didn't turn like he wanted it to. Had a slight hesitation on the front end. So who are we with? Dakuza coming through the first chicane now. I believe that is a change of livery for Dakuza. So currently running in 10th place. His time is a 1:48.960. What can he do? Can he improve on this time? Doing really nicely there. Keeping it all nicely sewn together. Just holding on to track limits there. Absolutely using every last millimetre of the circuit he can. And again, all the way out to the outside edge, but keeps it just within the limits. Hard on throttle again, coming down towards Ascari. Well, the Ascari complex. Absolutely hammering it. It does look like it's possibly might get some moisture out there. It looks a little bit dark on the circuit, doesn't it? It doesn't look particularly sunny. I know there's the possibility it's going to be a bit soggy when it comes to race time. Here we go. Okay, there we go. The Mercedes jumping out of his way as he thunders down this final back straight. Again, really difficult corner that you think it would be easy, but get on the power too soon, you absolutely ruin your exit. Get on it too late and sort of again ruin your exit. So it's one of these circuits where you really have to get your timing absolutely spot on. It's a good run. Is an improvement though, currently in 10th as he crosses the line. Don't think there's any improvement for him there, is it? Dakuza, no improvement for him. In fact, I was actually down on his time by quite a significant amount. Okay, so we are on board with Charles. Currently running in, let's see, there he is, just crossing the line now. So running in 20th at the moment. Done a 1:50. I think that actually was his first flying lap with his last lap. So expect some improvements here, but we're sticking with him for the rest of this lap. Let's see how he gets on. Not that many Aston Martins out on the field this evening. I think there is a grand total of 3 Aston Martins. So we'll see how he gets on. Just having a little look. If anyone's noticed, the old Jag is up in 10th place. So absolutely gargantuan effort by that. We will stick with Charles for now, and we'll complete the lap. Hopefully you can hold it together on the dash. You get a real idea of just how technical Monza circuit actually is. So again, hard on the brakes, swinging it in. There we go, perfect. Running as much curve as he possibly dare. Absolutely hard on the throttle down towards Ascari again. There's a slight dip here. Blind as you come underneath the tunnel. And absolutely flat out. Hard on the brakes there at the 100 metre block. Swings it in. There we go. And the Aston taking those curves easily. Oh, a little jump, but he manages to hold it together. And look, I don't think there's much of a time improvement coming though. We'll keep an eye on it, coming down towards the final turn now. Holding it on, there we go, rolls the throttle on nice and gently. Don't want to put it on too soon and lose any grip. Runs it all the way out to the outside edge. Is there going to be any improvement? I think 0.1 up, he's in 20th at the moment. And he's still in 20th place. Back on board with Dakuza, who has put the old GTR. Oh my goodness, he is up in 5th place at the moment. Great effort by him. Really great effort. Thunders through. That is the second chicane. Yep, second chicane. Doing absolutely fantastically here. Dakuza actually is 0.2 up on his best time as well. Oh, who's this? Zach coming across the line. Good improvement by Zach, up into 4th place, a 1:48.417. So great effort, and he's immediately pulled over, happy with that one. So back with Dakuza, now demoted down to 6th position. He is still up on his best time. Have to see how he gets on here. Oh, it runs wide, and that is almost certainly the end of that lap time. Way too wide on that into the gravel. Not what he's going to want. He has got time to go again. He's probably got time to pit and go out again if he really wanted to. But he will be kicking himself about that one. Just a little bit too much speed carried on the exit of the chicane. Ended up running out into the gravel. So even if he's quicker, it's not really going to matter too much here. Oh no, and he's pulling over. There we go. And maybe did dirty that then, but he's still down. He's in 5th. So actually, that must have been an improvement. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe that did not dirty his lap. But there we go. He's up in 5th at 1:48.487. Okay, so we now have. This is 12th place running as Bunch crosses the line. Nope, 10th place running. I apologise. Is Jukic. That was a 1:48.752. He's staying out. He obviously thinks he can go quicker than that. Oh, I just noticed how close the top 2 are. So, Filip Borovic, a 1:48.210, and Mex at 1:48.212. So that is ridiculously close. It's unbelievable. Doyle, out on a lap, he's up on his time. He's currently running 3rd with a 1:48.255. So if he can keep this together, he could possibly go up a position or 2, but Mex still lapping as well. Oh, actually, he's 0.2 up on his time. So he is really putting some pace down now. Can he hold it together? Looks like he maybe went a little bit conservative on that exit. Well, they're trying to straight line it. Yes, puts himself on pole. Great effort by him. And Aidan Doyle up on pole position, 1:48.1. Absolutely great effort by him. It is an absolutely blistering time. No one else out there that I can see at the moment on a green lap time. Everyone else is either coming out the pits for their one last ditch attempt. Obviously, you've got 1 minute and 47 seconds left of qualifying. But if you cross the line before the time it gets to 0, you still get to finish a lap. So some of these guys will probably be on their out lap with just enough fuel to get a second lap in. Doyle actually is slightly down on his best time, or level pegging. So Borovic still in the pits. So presumably he has decided that's as quick as he can go. And there we go. Aidan Doyle calls it a day at that point. Obviously decided he couldn't go any quicker, putting it right to the ragged edge. So we are now on board with Zach. He's currently 0.2 down on his time, but we will keep an eye. He might be able to regain that over the lap. Wings it in again. Runs a bit wide. Oh, if that was within, that is amazing effort. A couple of guys that are on green laps. We've got Your Kristanich is on a green. So we're going to stick with Zach for a minute, but then we're going to keep an eye on the overall times, because a couple of these guys are up their lap times. So we might see a shuffle. So like you said, they are still all within that top. Yet still the top 12 within a second of each other. So absolutely insane pace from these guys. has any improvement from Zach. No improvement from Zach. And I think he's just going to get another lap in. Yeah, I think he still manages to just put a lap in. Or has he seen the checkers? No, I think he saw the checkers. I think he just got away with that. Great effort by him. I'm going to look now. Don't think anyone's really super flying at the moment. Bellato actually down in 9th. He is up on his time. Fantastic. Here we go. Oh, and it's the big Lexus. He is up on his time, and actually he might have an advantage here. He had the toe there, so that would have helped him. That might have been a huge help for him. Bellato, 5th place. Great effort by him. Absolutely fantastic. In the dying seconds of qualifying, he manages to get himself up into 5th place. So actually, following Dakuda on that last lap where he was in the toe, actually, it turns out, didn't do any favours for Dakuda, and it's actually made him lose a position on track. So he might be a little bit miffed about that, but, you know, could have obviously pulled to the side, but obviously decided to keep going. Zach still out there trying to get himself slightly further forward. He is 0.1 up on his best time, so he still has an opportunity. Not many cars left out there now. So coming up to the final turn. Again, slow entry, quite a fast exit. And Jack's still out there as well, putting in some times. We might see an improvement from that car, to be fair. Here we go, we'll know in a moment. Now, Zach stays in 4th. And there we go, that is the end of qualification. Great effort by everybody involved. Oh, and here we go. It is night time. So if none of these guys have done any night practice, they're going to regret this. Very, very different circuit at night here, Monza. It's not overly well lit, in my opinion. It can be quite difficult to see what's going on from time to time. But here we go. We can run through the list in just a moment. Right, so rolling through our starting lineup, we have Aidan Doyle on pole position, followed by Borovic in 2nd place, Mex in the 2nd row in 3rd place, and Zach in 4th position. Bellato in 5th with that last minute time he put in. Dakuza in 6th place. Igor Kristinic in 7th. Matej Mikzic in 8th. Marko Miljevic in 9th. We've got Djokic in 10th. Ivo Miljevic in 11th. Jamie Noble running in 12th. Zivkovic in 13th place. Brooker in 14th. Vicinic in 15th place. Tonzetic in 16th position. Ollie Charles down in 17th place. Verchez in 18th position. Christian Stork in 19th, and rolling out the top 20 is Puros in 20th. So 21st position is Otto Winkler, and currently running in 22nd position is Schunrich, and obviously that 23rd position car is the safety car. So hopefully we won't have to see it here this evening. It's a nice modern circuit. It's fairly wide. I say modern circuit. It's been done up to meet modern standards. This track has been around since, well, actually I think it's back to 1922 is when they first ever had a F1 calendar here. So I mean it dates back even further than that. So that is ridiculously old circuit, really. But they've managed to keep it all up to date, and it's still a really, really good circuit and massively popular with all forms of racing. So should be a good one here this evening. 30 seconds till they start their formation lap. So fingers crossed. Again, just letting you know, this season brought to you by Sim Racing Pro. And don't forget to check out the Super Trofeo season, which is starting on the 8th of March. And running for 4 weeks during March every Tuesday. So little ad coming up for us, guys. Stay with us. Okie dokie, guys. So as you can see, it is insanely dark out there. It's going to be a real challenge seeing who is who and what is what. Going to be relying a lot on the old timing board this evening. So do bear with me if it takes me a moment or two to work out exactly what car is what. It's sometimes can be a little bit of a challenge. And for anyone that's part of the Discord community, I'm sure you are aware that my eyes decided to completely give up on me the other day. So, struggling ever so slightly to see some things, especially in the dark, but just look how dark it is out there for the guys on track. Absolutely ridiculous. You can only see about maybe, I want to say, 2 or 3 cars in front. It really, really is going to be a difficult one. Their mirrors are going to be full of glaring lights as they start. You would think that Doyle had the advantage being on pole, but I'm really going to come out and say it. He is not at an advantage whatsoever. He is going to have, like we said, his mirrors absolutely full of cars. It's going to be hard work for him. So don't be afraid. Feel free to say hello in the chat on the YouTube site. Always here, and if anyone you want to shout out, let me know. I'll do my very best to make sure we give them a little bit of a shout out. You never know, we might even be able to get them on stream. Usually try and cover absolutely everyone at some point. So fingers crossed, and hopefully this time round, after 2 hours, my voice won't be quite so destroyed, because I remembered to bring a drink with me this time, so fingers crossed. So the guys coming down towards Ascari now. And there we go, just seeing Mally, our race director, again, he's popped up in the YouTube chat, just letting everyone know, sign up for the ST season. You should do it, 100% worth it, really good community here, and they've got some brilliant racing. It's close, it's fair, it's a great community. It does seem absolutely fantastic. The racing I've seen is unbelievably close and clean. There is a nice mixture of abilities as well. It's not just all aliens. A couple of them are complete normal people like me as well. So it is lovely to see. I do encourage you to sign up and have a go. Worst case scenario, you do one race and decide it's not for you. That's fair enough. But I think, yeah, it's well worth a go. Right, here we go. Coming up to the final turn. The car's stacking up, getting themselves ready. At least they have plenty of time to get themselves in position, but it's going to be interesting to see how cars go. Borovec, obviously in the rear-engined Porsche, should be able to get a good run. He is going to be on the outside for turn 1, so he's going to have to be careful as well that Mix doesn't manage to squeeze his way up the inside. And everybody survived turn 1. If anyone can, it's these guys here. They are fantastic racers. They will be fair. I've seen video footage from previous seasons that they've all managed to do it. Oh, look, Max already positioning himself in the middle of the track a little bit to try and get a little bit of a run. Green light coming up any moment now.
Green light, give it all you got.
There we go, green light, and they are off. Oh yeah, Borovec does get a good run, already trying to get around the outside. Is he going to get in front and shut the door on Doyle? I don't think he will do, but that rear-engined Porsche just able to stretch away. Has he done it? Has he got enough under braking? Oh, nearly. He's going to have the inside for turn 2. A little bit of contact, but nothing too much. I think, oh no, there's a bit of an incident, I think, on turn 1. Cars spinning. Oh, that's a bit of a mess. Quite hard to see who is who in amongst that. The best start for you boys. It's a little bit difficult to see what's going on there. Oh, it's teammates. It was the brothers. It was the 2 brothers. Who's that? That is Evo and Oh goodness, my timing board is going bonkers. It always does on the first lap. Always quite difficult to see who is who. But Borovic out in front now. He managed to get just in front of Doyle on the opening lap. Zach has lost a position down into 4th place. Sorry, Mex has lost a position down into 4th place. Zach up to 3rd. Dakuza 5th. So a little bit of a change around at the top. But Doyle still bringing the fight to Borovic. Look how close this is and just how little they can see. This is absolutely pitch black. Is it 9 p.m. game time? Oh, and there we go. Borovic goes wide. How he managed to maintain the pace, I have no idea. That Porsche just managed to dig in through the gravel and keep going. Oof, I don't think many other cars could have kept it going quite that well. But these two, Borovic and Doyle, absolutely gunning for it. What can the BMW do now that it has the full advantage of this pit straight? Can it reel that Porsche back in? I'd say that tends to be where the Porsche is a little bit weak, is on the straights. And yes, the BMW in the tow, already closing up on him really, really quickly. Can he get it done before the corner though? Tries to look round the outside. Yes, he's under braking. He's got his nose in front. Is he going to be able to take it for turn 2? I think he does. Yes, flips the script on Borovic. Gets his nose in front. Brilliant effort by him. Just managed to just push that a little bit further into the braking zone and get past. And managed to do the exact same move that Borovic did to him on lap 1, but lap 2. So now we have Doyle back in front again. Great effort by him. That was a really bold move around the outside. Ooh! Was that contact? I think that might have been contact there for Borovic and Doyle. I think Borovic tried to go up the inside of Doyle. There might have been contact. Obviously it's quite dark, hard to see what's going on, but yes, into the braking zone there. Bit of contact. Borovic manages to keep it on the circuit, but he has lost a few positions. So when the timing decides to sort itself out, I can let you know that Borovic is, it's currently still saying he's in 2nd position, which I'm amazed he's managed to hold on to that. There we go. Now he's sorted himself out. Time board now says he is in 3rd. But there we go. Look at that. Zach pushing forward like an absolute maniac up into 3rd place. So, hold here. And Borovic dropping back even further. Next. Oh, we've had someone's gone off. That was Ascari, wasn't it, in the background? We'll maybe catch up with that later and see who that was. But for now, this battle, Borovic would have been so happy with his lap 1, turn 1, but it's all falling apart for him now after that little bit of contact in the 2nd chicane on lap 2, where he tried to regain the position again. Well, there we go, and Mixditch down in 7th, putting in the fastest lap of the race so far. Yeah, Borovic is just hemorrhaging positions now, and he's got a lot of cars around him. It's going to be very busy for him in turn 1. A little bit of contact there with Dakuza. Oh, a lot of curb running. And he's lost another 2 positions. Like we said, Borovic is just going backwards. He needs to stem the bleeding at some point. Not going his way with less than 5 minutes of the race underway. It's really, really not gone to plan. But someone that will be very pleased is Zach, who is out in front and actually was nearly 2 seconds faster than everyone else last lap. Oh no, sorry, faster than the guys around him last lap. So great effort by him. Oh, Mixich. No, who's this? This is Kristanich. Yeah, this is Igor Kristanich. He's in the pit. He's already in the pit, so I cannot imagine that that was a pre-planned thing. It looks like we've also got yellow flags on turn 1. Here we go. The cameras didn't do us much favours there, did it? They're already sideways into the dirt at that point. So that is the 2nd chicane, I believe. And that was Noble. So he got together with somebody there. So a couple of guys not having the best start to this race. Currently running down in 21st position. Doyle's still having a great race though. Currently in 2nd place, and it looks like he is hounding the back of Zach. He's going to be in the tow. He's going to be in the right place for this pit straight. Yeah, look about the tow. Already got the advantage. He's going to try and get round the outside, but as soon as he pulls out, I identical in a straight line. It's going to be who dares get on the brakes last. Not able to do it. Zach manages to brake just in the right spot, manages to defend the line. Great effort by him, and now Doyle has lost quite a significant amount of ground. The main thing I think that Zach is going to have to be aware of, that it does appear they're coming up on a back marker, that is Kristanich. I believe the back marker he's coming up on. I imagine he will get out of the way very quickly for him. Oh, here we go, another battle going on. This is the old Jag. Oh, just as we cut to him, he goes deep into the second chicane and lost a few positions. He was in 9th. Once the timing board sorts itself out, we'll know a bit more. Not gone brilliant for him on that last section. He looks like he's still running 9th according to my timing screen, so possibly not gone too bad for him. How are we getting on here? Yeah, fantastic. Still running down towards, this is down towards the Ascari complex. Get absolutely flat out, hard on the brakes, throws it in. Oh, his rear view mirror is absolutely full of someone's headlights. I think someone had to really straight line the old chicane a little bit there. He suddenly had someone right behind him, and then suddenly they disappeared off into the distance. So he got an amazing line through there compared to everyone else around him. I think that would have been Jokic behind him, and that would have been a battle for position in class as well. So currently, our fastest AM driver out there is, yeah, it is. It's difficult. Oh, I do apologise. It's not the easiest name to pronounce for me. I do apologise. This is Verchez we're on board with now in 10th place. Looking like he might be trying to go for a position here. Under braking into turn 1. Can he do it? He's up the inside. Mercedes gives him plenty of room. Yeah, given lots and lots of room. Evo looks like he's not too worried about giving up that position. So obviously Verchez being a pro driver, it's not a position lost in class. It is a position lost overall though. But to be fair, he's sticking with him, trying to hold on to the back of him, possibly going to look for the inside here into the second chicane. Not quite able to do anything with it that time, I'm afraid. But still pushing nice and hard. Oh, here we go. And so we've now got... Oh, that was close. That was very, very close. This is Piros versus Vashinic. If I mispronounced that, probably I have to apologise. Oh, just that Ferrari just managing to get its way away now. Here we go. We can have another look on the replay. Oh, big incident in front of them as well. McLaren going on right in front of them. Yeah, that Mountain 2 car really looking like he threw it in quite hard on the apex and just couldn't quite do what he wanted it to do. And currently, Piros has managed to pull away slightly. It's going to be a real challenge, it has to be said, for the race control this evening because, as we said, it is very, very limited viewing out there this evening. Not a lot to be able to see. We've got Borovec looking like he's going to try and gain some positions here. He was behind Bellato. Mex being pushed to the outside by both these guys. I think Mex is going to lose 2 positions. Not quite. He's trying to hold on to it. A lot of inside curve there on that second part of the chicane. And it looks like Bellato's got a better run. Yeah, a little bit of a rub, just the tiniest touch. Borovec will be hoping these two maybe slow themselves down a bit more, but it's looking like Bellato is making short work of Mex. He's managed to get past the Lexus, doing great work. Oh no, big incident there, big incident. Mex went for a dive under braking, didn't quite time it right. It looks like he hit the back of Bellato. That was a big hit. That was a really big hit. Here with the helicam, we can get an idea. Trying to see, yeah, look, he just went to go up the inside of the braking, mistimed it and spun that Lexus round. So no, that did not go well for him. Going to be probably some damage to both of those cars. Would not be surprised if we hear the immortal words of race control at some point. That was not the best move by those boys. But Bellato is now down into 7th position. So, oh, what a mistake there from him as well, coming through Ascari. Maybe a little bit shaken, possibly carrying some damage. I tell you that left rear of his car took a really hard slam there from Mex. Mex amazingly still running in 4th position. Oh yeah, and there we go. He's lost a position there to Verchez. So that is a position in class lost as well. Running the inside. He's going into the pits. He's going into the pits. So obviously running with significant damage. Bit of a shame. I think he actually ended up colliding with the barrier as well after being nudged. So yeah, it's a shame. It'd be interesting to see quite how long it takes. Mex, surprisingly though, is managing to carry on as he was. Trying to see how long he's going to be there. We'll have to keep a little bit of an eye on the old pit board and see when that P disappeared. Dakuza still battling with the old GTR though. Up in 5th position. Got a little bit of a gap behind him. Mex in front of him. Obviously, he might be able to take advantage of Mex's front end damage. I imagine there's some aero damage to that Mercedes, or he got very, very lucky if he hasn't picked up any significant damage. Bellato going to be disappointed. Already dropped down into 17th place while he still sits there in the pits. It's going to be a shame. Obviously, one of these 2-hour races back to back. There is no pit window. Oh, here we go. And Bellato coming out. So, not the longest stop in the world. But as we saw at, I believe it was, trying to remember the name of the circuit. It's losing my mind. I cannot think of the word. It's gone from my brain. Last week, some people went for 2 stops, some people went for 1 stop. The temperature meant that a lot of people ended up having to go into the pits, but twice. But this time round, you might get away with a 1 stop, but not this early in the race. He's almost certainly going to have to pit again, is Bellato. He just will not be able to have enough fuel. But Dakuza still chasing after the back of Mex. Is he going to be close enough to do anything into turn 1? Looks to the inside. We've seen Mex defend the outside brilliantly a few times though. Someone to really, really keep an eye on at this point though is going to be the number 68 car, the old Jaguar, currently putting in the fastest lap times with the 1:49.635. That's blisteringly quick. That's really, really good. Obviously, he's a bit of an old hand here at Monza. He's obviously really enjoying himself. So, yep. Zivkovic is having a great race for him. Wouldn't be surprised if he manages to catch the back of Dakuza at some point, simply because he has not able to find a way past Mex. And seemingly, Mex running unhindered after his incident. So no real damage on his end. I say, really, really surprised there wasn't more damage to that car. But Bellato running in 18th place. Oh, who is that running off the line? Somebody running out of the way there. As this pack of cars comes screaming up behind them. I think that might be Winkler, who was minding out of the way. Okay, there's blue flags flying. Mex trying to take advantage though and tucking in behind him, trying to get a bit of a drag down the back straight. Yeah, there we go. Minding out the way as these guys pile in. But he's going to be aware he's going to have that Jag right behind him again soon. Not quite as close this time round, Dakuza. I don't think he's going to be in a position to make a move into turn 1. Don't think he's going to be able to get himself up beside that car. Not quite, I don't think. Coming up the braking zone pretty soon. Here it is. Oh, the big split of flames there for the Mercedes in front of him. Good lord. Right, rolls back on the throttle. Here we go. Coming up into turn 2. How is he going to get on here? I would say a better line than Mex in front of him. Slowly catching him as they come towards the second chicane. Sweeped it in. Nicely done. I've just noticed that Doyle is back on pole, and I thought at some point that Zach had taken the lead from him. So I'm not sure when that changed happened. I do apologise, I missed that at some point. So it's currently Doyle on pole, Doyle in first, Zach in second, Moravec third, Mex fourth, which is the battle we are on board with now in the form of Dakuza chasing after him. But that Jag is also chasing him down. It's really chasing him down. Although actually the Jag is on a slightly slower lap this time around, so maybe a little bit of breathing space for Dakuza, and he can just keep pushing forward. So we are having a look at 10th place, which is there was an incident here, wasn't there? What's going on here? Kind of a 96. So going in here. Ooh, bit wide and just snapped on the oversteer. Oh, that's a bad place to be stopped as well. He's holding the brakes, he's doing the best he can. Gonna have to probably pull. Yeah, there we go. Manages to get the car started and get away. Really good bit of racecraft there. They say you would think to get out the way as soon as possible would be the best thing, but actually sometimes.
This is race control. Lap 1, turn 1 and 2 under review. All incidents of lap 1, turn 1 and 2 are under review. Over.
So there we go, the dominant voice of race control coming in. As we said, it would be a much more serious voice when he spoke next time, and there it was, a much more serious voice. Turn 1 still being investigated on lap 1, so it was a little bit choppy. As I have seen it done by these guys, I've seen the footage to show that they can go too wide through that first chicane on lap 1, the entire field clean. So I think a little bit of excitement here at Monza this evening. A couple of guys not quite as clean as normal. I'm sure there was nothing intentional, but still, race control will bring down hammer if they believe you are guilty of crimes against racing. Fastest lap now set by Borovec. So Borovec was on a flyer at 1:49.4. See, still pretty early in the race. These guys will be running a lot of fuel, so not expect them to match their qualifying times. Oh, bad run there by Mex, and he's well off the circuit. And Dakuza gets a good run. He's going to be on the outside coming into the final turn, though. Can he get past him? Oh, I think he has. Yes, he has. He's got past. Mex has a little look up the inside, but not able to make a move. And there we go. Dakuza finally gets past Mex, but he is going to be offering up that toe as they head up the pit straight, and that was ladies. A slightly more squat car might be able to do it. I don't know. It looks like he's still dropping away from the back of him. Actually, might be just closing up now. They're coming towards the braking zone. Dakuza holds onto it. Great bit of driving by him, and I imagine Mex is probably thinking to himself he cannot afford to have another incident in a braking zone. Realistically, he's got to be a little bit careful just until the verdict comes in. The drivers are listening into the race control announcements as well, much like real life. Oh, here we go. This is the battle for 11th place. So who have we got here? We have got a little bit of a change around. This is Jokic. So currently running in 12th. Sort of at the back of this pack of AM drivers. He's got Brooker behind him. We've got here we go, a little bit of a change around. What happened there? So 12th position, yep, there he is. He's got Pusinic in front of him and Brooker behind. These guys. Oh no! Oh, and it was the old commentator's curse. He's gone off. He's spun. I think that was entirely on his own. Didn't see anything malicious there, but a bit of a mistake for him. Not what he's going to want, and that's definitely a position here. He's lost the position to Brooker at least there. Oh dear, just car just started to rotate, wasn't able to hold it together, and it just spun around on him. And yes, there we go. Brooker has gone through, just showing up on the timing board now. So he's now down to 13th place. Unlucky for some, but let's see if Jokic can pull it back. In fact, he might actually be able to have a little go here on the pit straight. He seemed to close in on that Porsche. Like we said, the BMW does seem to be more dominant than the Porsche on the backs on these straights. That is the weakest point, but to be fair, the Porsche did amazingly there through that final turn. Great run, and actually opened up the gap massively. So I would be very, very surprised if Jokic can make any kind of move. Oh, who's this? This is car number 202 of Stork. What went wrong here? A bit difficult to see in this camera view. Oh, he's just off the circuit and returned to pits. I did see him go off earlier, so whether or not that is a case of retiring to the pits, I am not entirely sure. But oh yes, I believe that car is actually completely gone now. It has left the server. So going to see a couple of guys go. It looks like we've lost Stork, Charles and Noble. All of those guys appear to have left. So bit of a shame. Obviously, whether that's disconnect or whether or not that is just retiring after incidents. So definitely saw that McLaren going off earlier, having a bit of a bad time. Oh, I do apologise about that. My phone was meant to be on silent, but at some point I have turned it back onto loud mode. So on board with Jokic now. He's still down in 13th place, and it does look like Brooker is streaming away through the incident in front. Who was that going off? Someone spun in front of him. Brooker managed to get through. It was one of the BMWs. Yeah, you see, just gets up the power too soon. Oh dear, big collision with that wall as well. That could have gone very, very badly for and Jokic. Very lucky to not get caught up in that. But that was huge damage. Trying to work out who that is. Whoever it is managed to get the car going again. Didn't actually manage to see the number. Ooh, here we go. The Jaguar, the Jaguar, is now catching up with the back of Mex. Maybe that damage that he caught up earlier on is starting to affect him, because he is down on his lap time. Oh, who is this? This is... Oh, did I just see that? I had to reverse it. That's car number 92, isn't it? So that is Vasinic. And that is most likely the BMW we saw spinning out. That would make sense. My goodness. This man is determined to make me pronounce his name correctly at some point in this race, and I will do my absolute best. Zikovic, which I think that sounds about right to me. Zikovic. Oh, that's a strange camera view. There we go. Right, there we are on board with him now. On board the Emil frame steering wheel site. Definitely catching up with the back of him, and he's doing really well. I say lap times 1:49.6 on his previous, so he was near 0.3 of a lap, 0.3 of a second quicker last time round. We'll let you know what's going on times wise. A little bit slower than Max that lap, actually, ever so slightly off. About 0.2 of a second slower. Look at that, coming up towards turn 1. He is really gaining positions, and oh, nearly outbrakes himself. Really close to the back of Mex there. Good lord, I imagine that was a bit of a code brown moment for both drivers. Mex rearview mirror would have just been completely full of headlights, and I imagine there's a brake pedal firmly wedged into the floorboards of Zivkovic, his house. There's always Sterling. Oh, move up the inside there. Good lord, that is some brave stuff. Mex not having to really go defensive yet, but I really think at some point he is possibly going to have to change his strategy to go a little bit defensive. It doesn't seem like he can outrun this AM driver just on pace alone. I'd say that front end damage he picked up earlier probably really affected the tyres already. About 25 minutes of this race done, and already it has been a hectic one. Go into the braking zones and come down into Ascari. Both very similar paced. So here we go. Can the Jag reel in Mex? Can he do it? Can he close up that gap and possibly make a move into turn 1? That's realistically the action zone he's going to be using. Not very likely he's going to be able to do them anywhere else. And he is reasonably close if he can get the power on. Oh, and a big slide from him there, trying to get the power on. But a little bit wide as well by Mex. So Mex could have had the advantage there, but I don't think was quite able to use it. Can he do it? Can he do it into turn 1? Going to run out of pit straight, I think. He's close, he's very, very close. Looks to the inside, putting the pressure on. Mex still not going defensive, he's just sticking to his racing line. To be fair, this is the best option he could go for. As soon as he starts slowing down, that's going to be the problem. Just as a quick one, this Jaguar on the pit straight managed to pull 279 kilometers per hour. That is insane. It's such a fast car on a straight line. It is unbelievable. I mean, obviously it's weaker in other places, but it has to be said that this old Jag is absolutely monstering the back of Mex's brand new Mercedes, and say, you know, that is the absolutely top spec brand new Mercedes in front of him, and it is being chased after by this vintage Jaguar. So great effort, it has to be said, by these guys. One for holding it together, X for holding onto the pressure, but here we go. Car's going to lose a position here. Go into Ascari under braking. Yes, there we go. Mex just pops into the rear lights. Fantastic effort by him. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe that. Zikovic. Fantastic effort, and he's through. He is through and now heading down towards the final turn, this long right-hander. Brilliant, absolutely fantastic drive by him. Great to see this ARM driver pushing himself further and further forward and at such an iconic circuit. Oh, here we go, another battle going on. This is Borovic and Zach, I believe. Yes, it is. Borovic trying to go around the outside of Zach into turn 1. They're too wide. Oh, great little bit of a rub there, but really fair racing by the looks. See the way the Porsche just manages to get on the power and start pulling away. Also on board with Zach, and in the cockpit you cannot even see the Porsche that's running next to him at all. But they are still side by side coming down towards the second chicane now. Borovic going to have the advantage going into it. Just managing to hold it together, and there's a bit of a rub. Pushed wide. Oh, the penalty's starting to roll in, so no doubt we're going to hear from race control in a moment. But Zach manages to hold on to the position for a little bit longer. There's a fair bit of rubbing there. Too wide again here. Borovic trying to get up the inside. I don't think they touched that time, but there was very, very close. Oh, now there's contact. Both cars off, and I think there might be a third car involved as well. Dakuda, I think, had to get hard on the brakes to avoid heavy damage. If we could get a replay of that, that'd be amazing. Try and get an idea of what's going on there. Yes! Oh! Well, I don't know what to say about that.
This is race control. Cars number 8 and 806 get a 15-second time penalty for cutting the chicane on lap 1, turn 1. Car number 998 gets a 30-second time penalty for causing a collision with car number 7. 15 seconds for 8 and 806, 30 seconds for car number 998. Over.
Right, so battles going on currently. This is... Oh, they're all over the place. When we look at helicopter cam, really kind of opened up opinions. We won't say anything. It did look a little bit like maybe the BMW cut across the nose slightly of the Porsche, but not my job to say from where we could sit. It looked a bit sort of half one. Oh, Dakunza makes a mistake in turn 1. Very deep, and he looks like he's running through the runoff area. Yes, going through the runoff area. So loses. Has he lost position? I think he probably has there. Yes, he has. He has dropped back significantly. Trying to work out where he's running actually. But while all these incidents have been going on, someone that is having an absolute screamer of a race is Radislav Zivkovic. Is absolutely hammering it up into 3rd position at the moment. He is our leading AM driver by a long, long way. Oh, Dakuza, big drift and going off. That is the wrong type of GTR. It's not a drift car, this one. Just saw him slide off in the back of the shot. But look at this pace. Where on earth is this pace coming from in this Jag? This is insane. It's just got to be that it's so monstrous on the straight. We've got a Porsche in front of him at the moment. Is that Borovic? Surely that's not Borovic. It is. That's Borovic in front of him. That is second place. And now we're going to see one of the cars that is possibly the strongest in the straight line versus one of the cars that is weakest in the straight line. And just look at the speed difference. Look at the absolutely blistering speed difference. And Borovic goes a little bit deep on entry. That's going to sort of give him issues on the pit straight, and we know that's where the Jag is strongest. I very, very much doubt that he's going to be able to close the nose off on that beam on the car. Oh, we've just seen Vasinic has come out and said that his game crashed. So that's how we lost Vasinic. So that's a real shame. And then the Jag's done it. The Jag picked a second place, absolutely flying. This circuit obviously working absolutely perfectly for this car. What an absolutely blistering race this man putting in. Ridiculous. Absolutely insane how quickly these guys are going. There we go. Actually, a little bit of an update. So, real world information on our second place driver. Apparently, he races karts in real life and is actually Vasinic's karting rival. So here we go. That one might also explain why he is so quick. I think the Jag working in his favour here as well. I mean, you haven't seen him this far up the grid so far this season, but what an effort. Like, absolutely blisteringly quick here. So amazing effort. Obviously, those real world skills coming to fruition. You can see like we're on board with Borovic now looking forward at that Jag, and you can see through the corners pretty much equal with everything else. But once it gets the power down, we'll just watch as that Jag just absolutely books it out of it. He is flying away. It's just gone. By the time they get to the end of the straight, Borovic has nothing he can do, even if Zivkovic makes a mistake. He has just got that dominant straight line speed, and there we go. Look, just books away. As soon as they change gear, it just seems to absolutely fly. I reckon there's secret nitrous being used here. I cannot believe how quick this car is and how great of a lap he's putting in. A 150.1 last lap. Ooh, really good effort there by Borovic under braking. They're really well closed up. Really, really well on him. And you can see the car's a bit more spaced out now, and you really see how dark it is. Although, there we go, I was saying cars a bit more spaced out. Zach, Mex, Dakuza, all absolutely all over the top of each other. So this is going into the second chicane. Great effort again. Are we going to see any changes for position? Oh, big slide by... Well, that was Zach, wasn't it? Big slide. Oh, a little bit of a rub as he rejoined. Give Mex a big old bump. And now Dakuza being able to take advantage and get past. Oh, I don't imagine Mex will be overly happy with that. I don't think it was intentional by Zach. Again, but that has lost Mex the position. Dakuza flying forward. So just about holding it together. Flying through. Oh no! And a penalty has just come through.
This is race control. Car number 68 gets 5-second time penalty for illegal overtake on car number 74. The race control is now investigating cars 92 and 202 for lap 5 turn 1 incident. Over.
So there we go. All the amazing efforts being put in place. Slightly coming undone. 5-second penalties. That's not the end of the world. Right, Dakuza coming on this is the pit straight. I think he's having a big old flash there at the back of Zach. Maybe trying to unsettle him slightly. Trying to get around the outside under braking. Not able to. Zach covering it off beautifully. hits his apex. Not going defensive, just trying to run the lines as best he can. So when it comes to the pits, it's going to be an extra 5 seconds on for our second place man. So that's possibly going to lose him some ground. But obviously some people might have damage, so that might not affect him too badly. As you heard, it was an illegal overtake. Maybe post-race or at some point we'll have a little chat and we can get a little bit more information on that one and see exactly what that was. Obviously from our position we missed the incident in question as we were keeping an eye on everything else. But here we go, sticking still with this Takuza battle. Max right behind him, and actually Virches is on the back of them as well. So looking like Zach is a little bit of a cork in the bottle. We saw really early on in the race that he had blistering pace in the opening sort of 10 minutes. But now, with just under 40 minutes of the race complete, he is struggling slightly more to keep these guys behind. How's he getting on? Here we go. So this is Max. And yeah, you can just see he is, I want to say he's always dropping away from the GTR straight. Oh, a little bit of a mistake there, I think. Too much inside curve. Looks like he pushed himself to the outside. Managed to hold it together though. So maybe just using actually that curve to flick the car towards the outside. He is going defensive. He's already there. Inside, he's trying to hold it off so that Virches cannot go up the inside. Now moving across into the braking zone, hard the brakes. Takuza trying to go around the outside of Zach. Really well done by both those guys, and he gets it done. Yes, he does. He does get it done. So Takuza up into 4th place. Zach drops back 1. When you're in these positions, you really get an idea of just how wide the tyres on these cars are. Look at that BMW. There's not an inch of tarmac not covered by rubber. Oh, under braking, Max tries to go through as well. That was very, very brave. Everyone braking as late as they possibly dare. A little bit of a rub there from Zach and Takuza. Luckily not too much. Just a little touch, but I imagine that would have again been a little bit of a tight pant moment there going on. But these four, there is nothing between them as they dive again. Oh no, and Takuza's gone deep into the gravel. Was there contact? I'm not sure on who is that spun. That is Mex. Mex has spun and not able to rejoin until, I think he's going to rejoin in 9th position or 8th. Oh no, I think he just turned in and just spun the car. I don't think there was any actual contact. I think that was just his own mistake. From what we could see anyway, it looked like he just drifted on round and then Virches just took the position from him. So Mex is now down in 7th position actually. No, he can't be. That can't be right. Surely that's not right on the timing board. I'm not sure. Let's have a look. We'll have to wait and see. But a little bit of a change of pace now. It's a different car we're looking at this time. It is Miljelovic. So car number 998 is running the penalty at the moment. So he will have to serve that when he comes into his pit. He's chasing after the back of Virches, who had an absolute stinker of a last lap. I thought he would have got past Max. Oh, and a mistake into turn 1 as well. He has just gone straight through Hans Virches. So I imagine he's going to lose the position there. Yep, there we go. Lost the position on the rejoin. So Virches dropping back. I didn't think there was contact. I didn't think that he had any contact with anybody, but maybe he did, that we just didn't see on stream. But there we go, Miljelovic having a great run now. Up into 8th position. Oh, that was one of them. Oh yes, I do forget. There's 2 of them, isn't there, this evening? That was Evo. And the other one is Marco down in 18th place. So not going quite as well for him. I'm having a look at his lap times. No, I think it wasn't a pit. I think he's just not going quite so well. Currently running in 18th place. 17th place is Winkler, who we saw obviously really, really early pit from him. I believe that was after an incident where I'm pretty sure he hit the wall pretty hard. After a little while, it all becomes a slight blur, so I do apologise. And then we have Igor Kristinic running in 16th place in that number 3 BMW. Now, he definitely was had an incident and pitted early because he was a back marker pretty early on in the race. Bellato running in 15th place. He was having a great race earlier. Obviously, this is the only downside to when we don't have a pit strategy. It's very hard to know exactly who has pitted and when, but it is definitely going to be disappointed. He was right up the sharp end of the field earlier, and now he is clawing his way back up through. Gained a position as we're watching him, actually. So he has just got past... Who was that? That is car number... That is car number 12. That is Schoenrich. Yeah, he's managed to gain a position on him, so it will swap around. So he is now running in 16th place. One of the only McLarens on the circuit. Brooker in 13th place. Again, another driver that we saw right up at the front of the field earlier on. Or much further forward than this, I believe. I might be wrong. I'm more than happy to admit that I was wrong. But currently running in 13th place. Oh, a little bit of squabble going on here, possibly. This is Djukic and I want to say Tom Zetic. So this is the battle for 11th place. These two squabbling it out. Yes, here we go. On the dash of Djukic. Can he do anything into Ascari? Coming towards the dip, he's forced to be outside. Just starting to get the nose. No, not quite able to get the nose alongside. But Tom Zetic is off the optimum line. He's having to go defensive. Who's going to get the better line on the exit here? Both very, very cool. I think we both scuffed the gravel ever so slightly as they come down towards the final turn. Oh, and there's a yellow flag on the exit of this final turn. Hopefully they're going to be all right. Okay, there we go. So a couple of cars coming into the pits. Actually, quite a few cars coming into the pits now. Zivkovic, Eros, and Virches all into the pits as we speak. So our only Ferrari into the pits, and our only Jaguar into the pits as well. So everyone's serving their penalties. So I think there was a couple of 15s and a 30 there. And there we go, Dakuza up into 4th place. So we saw him drop back a little bit earlier on, trying to avoid incidents, but doing really nicely in the old GTR. Hasn't pitted yet though. So here he is. On the back of Zach, he looks a lot more confident on the brakes than Zach, doesn't he? That GTR really swinging in quite nicely. Is he going to be close enough to be in the tow? I don't think he is. I don't think his exit of Ascari was quite as clean as he wanted it to be. And he is pushing, but not quite able to close up. Here we go, coming into the final turn. That BMW just always looks like it's very loose on the back end, doesn't it? It sort of seems to glide into the corners a little bit. I wonder what it's like on tyres with that sort of loose of a setup. Okay, is Dakuza close enough? Is he going to be able to do anything into turn 1? I don't think he is, although he is now really in the tow and getting a good tow. No, not quite able to. God, Zach just almost robotic with how cleanly he is and consistently he's getting turn 1 sorted. Absolutely hammering the brakes. I don't think I've seen him get out-braked realistically this evening. Every single time, whether he's gone through with traffic or through on his own, he is just getting that braking zone absolutely perfect time after time. So Dakuza going to have to try and just take him on outright speed, I think. As you can see, there's just so little vision for these guys out there. Like, there's just, apart from headlights, no other form of lights on the circuit, apart from obviously when you're going past the main grandstand. It's just it's just darkness out there for them, and it's really hard to race. Oh, another penalty just come in for, I believe that is Max, so no doubt we're going to hear from race control in a moment. Oh, another one coming in. Oh, and another one coming in. Bellato picking up a stop-go, I think I've just seen. Oh, that is not what people are going to want. It's been quite a penalty-heavy race. Oh, Dakuza, not quite the cleanest exit again from Ascari. Oh, wait for the cameras to catch up. Now that gap has opened up again, hasn't it? So right where Dakuza needs to be.
This is race control. The following cars receive penalties for the investigated incidents. Car number 202 gets a 5-second time penalty for illegal overtake on car 92. Car number 7 gets a 30-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 63. Car number 886 gets a 30-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 14. Car 14 gets a stop and go 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with car 96. Car 130 gets a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision with car number 202 on lap 1. Over.
That was a busy old. That was a very busy bit of discussion there. So it's more penalties rolling in. So there was guys left and right. Bellato, obviously with that stop go 30. That's a huge penalty to take on. Because that is not just a case of, oh, on your pit stop you can serve it. You've got to go in and separately serve that. You've got to drive in, stop, take your 30 seconds, then leave again. So it ends up with a lot more than just 30 seconds of penalty time. You've got all that pit time, and obviously your tyres lose temp when you're in there. So going from bad to worse for Bellato, running in 11th at the moment, but after that stop go, it is going to be a big old hit. So any of the guys picking up penalties in this first half of the race, they do at least have the slight advantage most of the time that if they pit, they can, when they do their only pit, they can get away with it and they can just add the penalty time on. But for anyone in the second half of the race, if they pick up penalties after they've done their one pit stop, which I imagine they're all going to have to do at least one for fuel and tyres, it obviously stings a lot harder because you've got to pit just for that. But Bellato will be kicking himself for picking up that one, but Dakuza is in the right place at the right time. On the back of Zach, having to go around the outside. Zach going defensive. Again though, you just see on the brakes, Zach just absolutely got this on lockdown now. He is a computer program. I refuse to believe anything else. He is perfectly generated AI, just designed for getting the braking zone into turn 1 at Monza. Absolutely fantastic consistency from him. Just stunning bit of braking work, it has to be said. All while this is going on, Aidan Doyle enjoying the spoils of first place at the moment and opening himself up quite the lead to Borovac. This is definitely the main battle to keep an eye on. Again, hard on the brakes and then swings it in. A little bit messy on the exit. So Dakuza going to be really close for Ascari. He isn't going to be close enough to make a move. He's definitely got a slight overlap. He's just trying to maybe just put his feelers out, see how Zach reacts. Zach not going defensive there. Pretty good exit from both of them, both very equal, and Dakuza is very, very close. That's Bellato into the pits, so presumably going to do his stop go 30 now, although he might end up doing his actual pit stop. Slowly rolling that power on Dakuza. Can he do it this time? Bellato knows he's got that braking zone absolutely on lock. Okay, there we go. There we go. Dakuza into the pits for his pit stop. So he is going to be hoping that when Zach does hit his pit, that he will come out behind him. Going to try and go for the undercut and hope that it works in his favour. Bellato just leaving the pits now. So has he cleared his... Yes, there you go. Cleared his stop go 30. And he is down into 13th place now. So, as we said, things went from bad to worse for Bellato. Got involved in incidents, then obviously caused incidents himself. So, sometimes it doesn't always go your way. Doesn't always go your way, I'm afraid. The one thing Takuza actually has in his favour at this point is that the two guys that were on track behind him, they both have penalties to serve, so they should be in the pits a little bit longer than him. There you go, Takuza now rolling out as we speak. So it'd be interesting to see where he is going to come out. He's still going to be on the lead lap, just. And Takuza is now running in 10th place on the circuit, but he has done a pit stop. So with 1 hour 8 minutes left of the race, I reckon he should be able to just about do it in one. Just. Going to be a stretch, and his tyres are going to be pretty poorly by the end of this. Who have we got here? Jokic running in 9th place behind Brooker. Oh, and this battle seems to be heating up slightly. Coming down towards Ascari. Can he get it done here? I don't think so. Under braking, not able to. But again, this is going to be BMW versus Porsche on the back straight. And as we've seen a fair few times, this
is race control. Cars 22 and 89 are under investigation for lap 16, turn 7 incident. 22 and 89 under investigation.
Oh, okay, so 22 and 89. So that is Zach and Borovec. So second and third position at the moment. Yeah, as we saw, there was a little bit of rough and tumble between them earlier. Someone that hasn't had the run I thought they would is Jokic. Really thought he would have been on the back of Brooker coming into turn 1, but somehow hasn't managed to get the BMW up behind him quite as nicely as we thought he would. So can he do anything this lap? He's reasonably close, probably within enough striking distance for the toe, although I don't know actually. That gap through Sector 1 really looks like it's opened back up a fair bit. Having a little look at the old timing board, it shuffles itself around while everyone's doing pit stops. Sometimes it can throw a little bit of a wobbly just because of where cars are positioned in their pit boxes. So yeah, not actually as close to the back of Brooker as I would have expected. Obviously with the race under investigation, that was Borovec and Zach. Obviously that may play into the hands for Aidan Doyle, who's currently still on pole. It really could come into his favour. Right, Jokic just exiting Ascari, and yes, from this angle looks like he's very close to the back of that Porsche. Yes, he is very close to the back of the Porsche. He is going to be chasing into him into the final turn. He's forced to the outside. What can he do there? Not a great deal. He should be able to at least maintain his speed around the outside and not lose too much time. Tucks in behind the Porsche. He's going for the toe. Can he get it done? Can he manage to catch up with the back of that Porsche before turn 1 and get it done in the braking zone? Looks to the inside. He's definitely alongside it. Can he get the braking done though? Yes, and the Porsche not giving up. Well, he runs a little bit wide. And the exit advantage to the Porsche. Brooker just managing to get the power down and pull away again. There is a Mercedes coming up behind them. I'm not entirely sure which car that is. I don't think that is for position. Can't quite see their number. Oh, that's 17th place. That is Miljelovic. Marko Miljelovic. So he's flashing them to say, come on boys, let me pass. But technically he is at least down a lap. Oh, to be fair, he does. He gets out of his way. I mean, fair play, they didn't have to, but that pure speed of Marko is really showing now. And actually, getting out of the way and letting that car through has not done Jokic any favours. He is now miles and miles behind. So possibly shot himself in the foot there. And here we go. Here is the other Mojalovic brother, Zibo, running in 4th at the moment. On the back of Mex. Both of these guys have penalties to serve. So currently, Mojalovic is the leading AM driver. So Ivo is the leading AM driver. So with both of these cars are holding on to 30-second time penalties. So it's the positions they're in now are certainly not the positions they're going to be in at the end of the race. So if you look at the lap times, with sort of everyone doing sort of 150 to 151s. Oh, big mistake by both of them there. Oh goodness, just about managed to hold it together. That was just a case of, I think, of Mex maybe slightly outbraking himself, and then Mojalovic just following him through. So still really pushing, trying to go for positions. So Mojalovic is technically first in his class. But oh, trying to go around the outside now into final turn. Can he get his done? There's contact! Oh dear, and that had spun Mex. Oh, that was not great. Mex on the outside of that turn rejoins the circuit. So here we can see it again. He's round the outside. A bit difficult to see from that angle, but it was hard to see if there was enough room left for Mex. It looked like maybe there was, but Mex will not be best pleased with that. He's had a few incidents this evening. Oh, Zach into the pits, so he was running in second place. He is now into the pits. Obviously, I believe that car is under investigation at the moment, if I've got my numbers right. I may have got them wrong, so feel free to tell me I'm a complete idiot, because I probably am when it comes to numbers. But there you go, Zach leaving the pits already. Obviously, we know he's definitely lost a position or two. I say Mex definitely got past him. Not sure about Tonzetic, though. We'll have to wait for all the timing screens to sort themselves out. But there are cars flying up the straight as we speak. Oh no, Tonzetic is... Ooh, where is Tonzetic? How are we looking at this? Yes, he definitely has lost position. Zach down into 6th now. So yeah, Tonzetic definitely got his way past. So the great big BMW M4 thundering its way along. This is the kind of time we might see new fastest lap put in, possibly. Obviously fresh tyres for quite a few of the drivers out there now. Everything's switched up slightly. So this is now Zach chasing after the back of Dakuza. You can see towards the end of the stint we really saw Dakuza come alive. So he pitted a few laps ago. So he's running with a fair bit of weight on board. Mex in the pit now. And Tonzetic into the pits as well. Oh, sparks absolutely flying off the bottom of Zach's BMW. Who's that? Brooker into the pit as well. So a few of these guys obviously putting in slightly later strategies than everybody else. Doyle, I still haven't seen pit. So, you know, he's really been pushing forward hard to try and get a decent lead over everybody else. Be interesting to see where all these guys come out. Dakuza going to bump up the position significantly. I think he's going to end up in third after these pits. Doyle into the pits. Okay, here we go. So this is the real one to watch out for, is when he comes out, is whereabouts does he position himself. So realistically, Dakuza is going to be the man to possibly take away the lead from him. Already saying that Dakuza is running in third now after those pits. He's got a fair way to go. So who are we on board with here? Max. Max still in the pit, isn't he? He's been there a long time. I know he had penalties and possibly had damage as well. Oh, there he lights up the tyres as he launches away. Ivo Miljelovic is into the pits. So he is coming in to, I presume, serve his 30-second penalty. Possibly his, it's actually just his scheduled pit as well. Doyle on the roll out now. Still our race leader. Fantastic effort by him. It's been a really good race, though he has got cars flying up behind him now. So Dakuza is going to be coming into second place. I would assume he's going to inherit second position, unless Ivo can get out quickly. Ivo's still there. Dakuza, no, Dakuza's going to take it from him. Dakuza's going to be up into second place. Obviously, Doyle long gone. But everybody in front of Dakuza has given way to him, and he is flying along. Really good effort by him. So let's have a quick look. And so Dakuza, he qualified in 6th place. Currently going to be running in, I would presume, 3rd, though it's still showing up as Miljelovic in 2nd at the moment. There we go, Dakuza into 2nd place. It's official on the timing boards. Great effort. So having a quick look at how things have changed around. Doyle obviously qualified on pole and has stayed on pole for basically the entire race apart from lap 1. Borovac, who qualified in 2nd, is currently running in 4th place. But let's not count him out. There's quite highly a chance that he might be able to do something else and get himself further up. Max, who qualified in 3rd, is... where are we looking? He is now running in 14th place, so not the greatest going for him, has to be said. He'd probably been a bit disappointed with that. Zach, who qualified in 4th place, is now in 3rd position, so slight improvement for him. Bellato, one of the I can't say the word, having a tragic race, qualified in 5th and is now running in 13th place, so really not gone to plan for him. As we said, Dakuza qualified in 6th, running in 2nd as we speak. A really good effort by him. We saw him avoid some incidents earlier, some pretty close calls, but some cool-headed racing has got him all the way up to 2nd place. Kristinic, or Ivo Kristinic, qualified in 7th and is currently running in 5th. Sorry, not Ivo Kristinic, is it? Sorry, we just go with Kristinic. Do apologise, got my names a bit wrong there. I was looking at the wrong screen. Then we have, where was I up to? I lost my brain. Marco, he was running in, qualified in 8th. He is now in 15th place. So, no, he's not. I'm completely wrong. I'm looking at Mick Zitch here. Oh, battle's going on screen. I will ignore what I was saying and we'll carry on with the track action as it's hotting up again, as Bellato, looking to regain positions here, is up behind the back of Baruka, coming onto the pit straight, and here we go. The Lexus has got an absolutely insane amount of straight speed compared to that Porsche, unless the Porsche can do something on braking, which I don't know that it will be able to. What's happening here? They're going to be too wide going into turn 1. Fantastic bit of driving there by Bellato. Manages to eke his nose in front and just give himself an advantage going into the second part of that chicane. and now can try and put the hammer down and pull away in that great big hunk of Japanese metal. The Lexus does sound really good, it has to be said. Oh, but there we go. Brooker tried to go up the inside of the chicane, outbroke himself, went flying through. Oh, that was very, very close. That could have been a messy run. Luckily, no one else involved apart from Brooker. So hopefully his car hasn't picked up too much damage. Nope, he's still running. There he is, right behind him. Managed to keep the car together. Is this going to be... I think the replay may have just missed the incident there. I think we just caught them rejoining, but never mind. So I think he just outbroke himself. Luckily, didn't bounce too much. I've just been informed that we will be getting one of the stewards to come in and have a chat with us, so we can have a little bit of an insight into what they've been up to. They've been busy boys. Good evening. Welcome along to the commentary booth.
Yes, it's about time I get a break from talking and making my brain work for a change.
It's been a busy old race for you boys this evening. I imagine you've probably been talking as loudly and as quickly as I have for the last hour and 7 minutes.
Well, I mean, if it's not hot in race control, the heat is just incredible on the track.
It's been some beautifully clean race. Well, so I say predominantly it's been some really clean racing. There's been a couple of rubs and some silly manoeuvres by a few people. Some unfortunate incidents as well. Obviously, we see different angles that you guys see, and obviously you can crawl over the same incident over and over again and get a far more in-depth idea than us. One I've got to ask on, what was your opinion on the, I think it was Mex and Zach earlier on the race, or it was Mex with that rear end bump that we saw going on earlier. That sort of looked unintentional, but obviously was a big old hit. What was your opinion on that one?
Well, I mean, you know, as the saying goes, rubbing is racing, and Mex just had to give Zach a bit of a love tap to let Zach know that he's coming for him. It was, from our opinion, unintentional, but you know, we keep track of everything, and every little love tap, every little nudge, every little rub, we make notes of it. So if you do it more than once, you know, you're going to have to start praying that the stewards are in a good mood.
Yeah, it definitely looked like he slightly changed up his strategy, especially going into that second chicane. He wasn't quite so aggressive up the inside in the subsequent laps after that. It looked like he maybe just thought, I can't afford to make a mistake in the same place again. So he looked like he maybe just backed it off ever so slightly. At least on that area of the track, he didn't look quite as fighty for a couple of laps. But like you said, it must be a real hard sort of line to follow, where you don't want to discourage close and hard racing, but at the same time you still want to discourage just dangerous racing. I think you guys ride that line pretty well. Obviously, there might be some drivers that will be annoyed with the decisions, but that is just the way it is. Sometimes it doesn't go your way, and someone whose race has not gone their way is Bellato. He's had an absolute stinker this race, it has to be said. Obviously qualified really well and dropped back. What do you think of Doyle's pace though here? It is insane.
It is insane. I mean, he kept it clean. He's made the right moves at the right times. He hasn't taken any unnecessary risks, if I can put it that way. Where there was a door open, he took it, and he took it cleanly.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we saw it on lap 1, turn 1. He ended up losing the position straight away, and that must have been a bit of a kick in the teeth for him. He obviously did amazingly in qualifying, and then to the first braking zone losing a position. But like you said, didn't take the risk of battling too hard, just played his time nicely and managed to regain the position. Another racer who seems to be keeping himself out of trouble is Dakuza, doing a really nice effort.
Yes, caution is the better form of valor. Dakuza lives up to that pretty well. He might not always be the most quickest driver on the grid, but he's consistent and it's paying off for him tonight.
Yeah, it really is. He's got some absolutely fantastic pace out there. His best this stint has been a 1:49.5, so that's not bad. That's pretty decent compared to everyone around him. As looking at Doyle, I mean, it's just ridiculous pace from Doyle, so we won't even bother. It was last lap was a 1:49.2, so he's absolutely flying out there at the moment. Obviously, really in the groove. Someone that had amazing pace in the first sector, and I would be interested to see if he can we'll do a replay of it as well, is car number 68, the old Jaguar of Zivkovic. That was insanely fast the first hour.
Well, I mean, the Jaguar during qualifying and practice had the top end when it came to the speed trap at like 277 kilometers an hour, and actually, speaking of that, he still holds the top end in that speed trap.
It's insanely quick. I mean, we saw it obviously. I mean, the Porsche is it's known for its lack of pace on straights, but we saw the two of them and just how quickly it caught up with the back of the Porsche. It was ridiculous. The Porsche had a little bit extra drive out the turn. I think it was Ascari. I think the exit of Ascari, he got like a decent run, but then as soon as the Jag sort of clicked up into fourth gear, it just absolutely flew. It was insane. It was like something out of Fast and Furious, how quickly it suddenly caught up with the back of it. And someone that's speaking of people going really, really quickly, Aidan Doyle is still putting in faster laps. He's up on his best lap time still at the moment. He is 1:49.220 is his best, but his current, he was up on his time, so still absolutely thundering along.
No, unfortunately, he's invalidated this lap, so that explains for the little bit of extra time gained.
Yep, that would explain it.
But I mean, for being such a short circuit, it's quite technical, and it probably has two of the longest straights in the season's calendar, and the amount of speed and time you can get, but at the same time, how much focus and concentration you have to put in, because one wheel wrong will just ruin your entire lap for you. A little bit of argy-bargy here is going to ruin your lap for you. You have to always be consistent, on note, and precise. You can't make one mistake and think, okay, I can make up for it in turn 2. This circuit just flows from turn 1 all the way through.
Yeah, someone that has managed to do that, that has managed to seemingly be robotic levels of perfection, is Zach. Turn 1, I haven't seen him get that braking zone wrong in the slightest. Whether he has been on the attack, just driving on his own hot lapping, or defending, he has managed to get that BMW absolutely where he wants it every single time. I don't know if you've had a chance to keep an eye on it or not, but it has been absolutely ridiculous, the level of perfection from that man in turn 1.
Unfortunately, I've been watching Zach since about 20 minutes ago, and turn 1 has probably been his only corner where I can't hold him accountable for anything but excellent braking, excellent positioning. But yeah, let's just say that he has caught the steward's eye this race.
Yeah, there's been a couple of incidents across the field. I definitely heard the stern voice of race control come through. I'm sure we did care. Car number 89 was under investigation at some point. How many investigations have you got still ongoing at the moment, or are you having a little bit of a break and coming in here?
Well, I was lucky that we had managed to resolve I would say there's about 25, 26 contacts in the first hour. I would say about 70% of them were valid, but the second half has been clean so far.
Yeah, definitely think the pit stops tend to sort of break everyone up a little bit, don't they? It all gets quite hot and heavy. Well, that's the wrong terminology, isn't it? All gets a little bit sort of, tight and battly in the first half, and then I think everyone tends to calm down after the pit stops. They come out in a little bit of clean air. They get 5 minutes to just lap on their own before someone else appears near them. I think it definitely helps. And as I said earlier on, anybody that picks up a penalty after they've done their planned pit stop has to pit again to take their penalty, and so it things worse in the second half. Just on screen, I've got Mex coming up behind Brooker, so this might be a change here at the bottom of the back straight, possibly. A little bit of a mistake there by Brooker under braking. Mex taking advantage. Is he going to be able to get the Jag to squeeze past the Porsche here now as they enter the pit straight? Oh, Pilato into the pits again. So I don't think he had a penalty to serve, so he's into the pits again for some reason. Here we go, Max trying to go around the outside into turn 1. Can he get it done to the braking? He's not quite in front yet. Here they go, hard on the brakes. Is he going to have advantage on the second turn? Yes, he is. He's managed to get the job done, and he is out in front. Fantastic positioning of the car there. And yeah, there we go. He's past Brooker. So Max has shown good pace all night. Obviously, as we said, caught the eye of the stewards a few times, but he got that done nice and cleanly at least.
If anything, this our ISDA community can show everybody how to overtake into turn 1. A certain 44 and 33 could learn a bit from this.
34 and 33. Who are these people on the track?
No, not GT3 racing. I'm talking about a certain Lewis and a certain Max.
Oh yes. Okay. Yeah. Sorry.
One can never forget that Monza race.
You know what? I haven't followed F1 in years, and I really ought to get back into it. It's like when I was a bit younger, I used to watch it as a child, and it does seem pretty insane. But yeah, I don't know. I fell out of love with it for a little while, but I really ought to get back into it. It does seem like it's all a bit closer than it used to be. So it'd be very interesting to see actually what's going on sort of this season coming up. It's going to be a good one. Different cars this season, obviously. So
yeah, whole new cars, whole new setup. It's a whole new ball game.
So this will be the season to get in on it, really, won't it? I think come in fresh, new cars, have a bit of a watch and see what's going on. Speaking of coming seasons, gonna plug it again. Our Super Trofeo season coming up. First round on the 8th of March, and then continuing on every Tuesday in March. I will get the actual dates up for you now. So 8th of March, Paul Ricard. March 15th, Imola. March 22nd, Misano, and then rounding off this 4-round mini season on the 29th of March, Monza. So really nice continental race series. It should be a really good one. Anyone that hasn't driven the ST, it's a great little car to drive. Like I said, it's kind of a nice blend between GT4 and GT3. It sits nicely in the middle. Still feels like a race car, but not quite as daunting as the GT3s. Have you got much experience in them?
I have a bit of experience. The car itself is stunning. It teaches you stuff that your GT3s and your GT4s that you need. There's specific skills. You can't just hop into the Trofeo Cup and think, yes, you're going to be fast. It's like rain. It evens out the field. So regardless of the setup, regardless of your experience, you can be fighting for top positions, even if you're, in my case, one of the slowest drivers in the field.
I know how that feels. Don't worry. I'm usually near the back, so I know your pain.
They're absolutely fun cars to drive. I'm just a little bit upset that they're not coming to my neck of the woods, because I loved the car around my circuit. But
your home circuit is Kailami, I believe, is it not?
Yes, it is.
Yes. Yeah, I think I've raced there. I can't remember if I've raced there in the Super Trofeo. I know I've done GT3 and GT4 races there, but I'm not sure I've done a Super Truffle, as I like to call them. I'm not sure I've done a race there as of yet, but it'd definitely be a circuit to take it round, and I can see that actually that would give some great racing there. And it is always also really nice when it is the fixed series where everybody's in the STs, that at least you don't have to think I'm really fast in the corners, but I'm going to get monstered on the straights, as we've seen a couple of times this evening with the guys in the Porsches. Everyone's the same, so it just comes down to a little bit of setup and a lot of driver skill, and it's really nice to sort of stick people in the same car and see how they're getting on. Speaking of driver skill, this is hang on a minute, is that a back marker going around? No, that's not. We're on board with, who is that that's just gone through? That is, what is it? Nick Zitch, sorry. So he is pushing through. He's just gone past, who was that? That's Piros. So he is now up into 5th place. I say, I do apologise. I'm not trying to just ignore you. I just suddenly saw a battle on screen. Wanted to make sure I quickly got in on it.
Well,
but yeah,
the battle's always good at Monza. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, actually, there we go. And Piros has come into the pits as well. So I'm sure we already saw him pit once. So he's obviously going for a 2-stop. He didn't have a penalty or anything to serve that I could see. So obviously going for a 2-stop, which surprises me as it's not overly hot out there on track. I mean, I know it's a big... Don't carry on.
And the promise of rain has just slipped through our fingers.
Not a lot of wind, is there? The wind speed's pretty low. Say 38 minutes left of the race. And from what I can see, it doesn't appear that it's going to rain on the weather board. So who knows? Maybe we could see something in the last sort of 8 to 7 minutes of the race, but unlikely. I mean, it's just cloudy and dark at the moment. So I was saying earlier on, actually, just how dark it is on this circuit, how ridiculously dark it is when you're out and about. Obviously, for you guys in the booth trying to look at all the incidents that are going on, how hard is it compared to daytime racing to get a really good, accurate look at incidents?
It is very difficult. I mean, the only part of this track that is properly lit is really the main and the back straight, and most of your incidents don't happen on a straight.
We've seen a few. We have this evening, especially exit of Ascari. There's been a couple of guys ping-ponging off of the walls a few times. But yeah, I will admit, it doesn't tend to be the hottest action areas.
Yeah, so mostly turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, and turn 4 are your hot areas, and they're the most underlit parts of the track. I mean, I've been lucky enough to experience this type of racing in real life in this type of lighting, and even as a spectator, it is not easy to see what car is coming when. As much as they've got illumination on the side of the car and as much as they've got lights, you can't tell a Ferrari from a Porsche, from a Bentley, from a Jag. It's very difficult. The only way is when you hear when you hear them come past you, and all you hear is either that flutter of the turbo as they lift, or that low grumble of the V8 as they're going through the corner.
Yes, definitely. And as obviously, when you're on a racetrack as well, you get sort of echoes from all over the place. It's not like when you watch on TV where you hear the sound of the car that goes past the camera. When you're actually at a live circuit, there is just noise absolutely everywhere. It's just constant. So you can't always necessarily just listen out like you were saying. When the car goes past, you can go, oh yeah, that's the one. But yeah, listening out, and you could sort of think to yourself, oh, that must be a Bentley thundering up the straight. But actually, it turns out it's a Bentley somewhere else on a different part of the circuit, and the wind was blowing in just the right direction to trick you as an Audi comes trundling on by or something. But
well, you can easily tell between an Audi and a Mercedes. The Audi's got a very high revving engine compared to the Merc and its deep torque reliant V8. I mean, if you sit on a circuit long enough, you'll be able to tell which car's coming through if you're a car enthusiast. But for a normal, there's racing, I'm going to spectate for the first time in my life, it's not that easy.
No, I say definitely being at the side of a circuit definitely takes some practice to get used to it. It's It's an overwhelming experience, I think, the first time round. It has to be said, you're there and you're thinking, oh yeah, this would be the same as watching it on TV, and it is such a different kettle of fish. I always found the weird one is when certain circuits, they'll put up like the live TV coverage on a big TV screen. So say if you're sat at turn 1 and obviously you want to be able to see what's going on with the rest of the circuit, they screen it, but then what you find is yourself just staring at a TV screen. Who is this coming into the pits? This is, so 11th place, this is Ivo Mujalovic. He looks like he's got some serious front end damage. I didn't see when he picked that up, but the front of that Mercedes looking significantly shorter than normal. I reckon he's probably lost at least 3 cylinders off the front of that engine, judging by how much damage there is.
He has been involved in a few argy-bargies earlier in this race, so that could just be leftover damage that they haven't decided to tape up when he went into pits for the first time. Quite
possibly. I mean, I'd be amazed if he's managed to be out there, just because how bent that bonnet is. I know when you put a bump in the front of the Mercedes, it does take up quite a lot of your front vision. It has to be said when you're trying to look forward.
Well, I mean, 60% of the Mercedes is just the front end of the car.
Oh, at least, I would say on a good day, 60%, maybe 80%. Well, but at the moment, definitely that the Evo's was looking significantly shorter. I reckon that was maybe only 40% of the car was left as a bonnet at that point. Everything else had managed to disappear into the front of it.
Maybe he was trying to get a short wheelbase Mercedes for the circuit.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I'm not sure it would entirely come to his favour, but, everything's worth a little try, everything's worth a little go. So, we've nearly done 90 minutes of the race. We're coming up on the 90-minute mark pretty soon, in sort of just under 3 minutes. Doyle looks like he's been pretty dominant and out in front. D'Souza obviously running in second place and seems pretty happily there as well. Zach running in third position, Borovic up to fourth. Do you think there's going to be any dark horses towards the end of this race that are suddenly going to pull out a couple of positions? Or do you think...
Well, I think the top 3 is pretty much set in stone. There could be a potential fight for P3 come the end of this race. However, I don't think a 2-stop strategy is going to play out for the guys that have been trying it. And I don't see any like drastic changes. I mean, the battle for AM is looking good. They are pretty close for P1 and AM. P1 and Pro, Doyle I think has got this in the bag unless he makes some unintentional mistake.
Yeah, I think it's going to take quite a serious mistake on his part to put him off, isn't it? Really, I mean, let's be honest. He's been, as we said, pretty dominant this entire time, and doesn't show any signs of backing off. Having a little look, car number 68, which was the Jaguar, he's not having the best second time. I think he's just come out the pits again. And he'll be disappointed because he's down in 11th place. He's still third in AM class, but he said at one point he was right up by the very, very front end of the grid, wasn't he? I think he must have been almost in he was definitely inside the top 5. It was amazing. He was well in front of every other AM driver. So, but sadly, he's got himself quite a bit of traffic between him now. Say, Jokic in 7th place is the next AM driver, and so he's got 3 pro cars between him and Jokic. I mean, Mex and Brooker, they might be able to catch up and make their way past, but still a lot of traffic between them. So I think probably this late in the race, people are reasonably settled into their positions. Just having a look now. So yeah, Jokic is on the back of Tom Zetic. So yeah, first place in AM class. That could be changing at some point. But I think it's going to be a close one. Hopefully they battle all the way to the end. I think pro class, unless Doyle has either completely miscalculated his fuel or has some sort of catastrophic accident, I think he is reasonably reasonably secure at that point. But you never know. Everything can change. And so you're actually now looking... who is this? Yeah, Brooker. Actually, no, where's Brooker? No, that's not Brooker I'm looking at, is it? No, it's not. We've got this is Jokic, sorry. I think there's another battle going on a bit further down the grid as well. I think Brooker is trying to catch up with the back. No, I'm completely wrong. It's not. I was looking at the wrong timing board. I do apologise. I got all excited and I was like, hang on a second, there's a battle going on. No, it's a back marker, so it's nothing to even look at. It's nothing going on. Apologies. So the main one is...
Well, there is a battle coming soon for P3 overall between Zach and Borovic.
Yeah, still, what is it between them at the moment? It is about...
0.7 of a second.
Yeah,
going through sector 2.
That's pretty close. It's getting there. It's definitely going to hot up a little bit. Obviously, Zach's been really, really consistent. So really, it's going to be a case of Borovic is going to have to find a way past him. It's not going to be a case that Zach is just going to open the door. Oh, under braking though. Borovic really closing up there. I was saying earlier on how the BMW does look quite loose coming into these flying turns though. We saw it earlier on actually, I think that Zach turned in, I think it was turn 5, and went to swing the front, oh no, sorry, turn 6. Oh my gosh, there we go. Amazingly, the Porsche has managed to outdrag the BMW, got into the slip, and is now trying to go around the outside into turn 1. Is he going to be able to do anything here? Under braking, no. Zach, again, robotic precision, closes off the door and gets it done. But Borovic has brought the fight, and he is coming out all guns blazing. So that went from 0.7 of a second to them being overlapping going into turn 1 within, what was that, half a lap, realistically?
And it's just going to get even closer.
Brooker has just spun in on entrance Ascari. So he's got himself moving again, but he went off at some point there. I think it was unassisted. I think it was just on his own. But I just saw the yellow flag come pinging up.
No, Zach likes a loose BMW, and I think it's just not playing so well for him these last 2 races.
Yeah, much harder on the tyres running a sort of a looser setup. Say on the sprint races, I'm just looking at this. I cannot believe how quickly Borovic is catching this BMW on the straights. It's normally not the case. We've seen in every other instance the BMW has managed to pull away from the Porsche. So I don't have a clue what the difference is. Maybe fuel levels, possibly, or it's either that or Borovic is just. But the speed they're catching is insane. He's going to try and go around the outside now. Hard of the brakes. Not able to do it, and looks like maybe the car got a little bit loose there as well. Going to try and get a better exit, try and get as much of a straight as possible. Here we go. Is that going defensive, taking the inside?
The BMW is quite a bit bigger than the Porsche, so he's punching a massive hole for the Porsche.
So we're really tight under braking it. Sorry, I got to quickly just say, there we go, Borovic gets it done at a turn 1. For the first time this evening, Zach has given up a position in turn 1. We've seen him defend fantastically. Oh, big flash of his light, so he's obviously not overly happy about that. But got to be said, it didn't look too bad from our position, from where I was viewing. Didn't look like there was any contact or anything too naughty going on there. Just looked like Borovic just had an extra sort of, I think about, what did I say, nearly 5 mile an hour, 10 mile an hour quicker on that pit straight, and just managed to nip past him under braking. So but there was definitely a big flash of the lights from Zach. So might be interesting to see what went on post-race, see what he says about that. But now Borovic flying away from him, absolutely pulling away. A good 4, maybe 5 car lengths between them already. Oh, and 5th place position. Miksic picks up a drive-through penalty. Going to presume that's going to be for track limits. Very easy to go outside of track limits here at Monza. A couple of places you can go wide and just go a little bit too deep over the curbs. Yeah, I'm going to presume that is going to be for track limits, unless you can tell me otherwise.
It probably is for track limits. I mean, I don't see anything from our side, otherwise I would have been dragged back in already.
Yeah. No, that That'll be a shame. He'll be disappointed with that. So he got himself up into 5th position, and that drive-through is going to be a killer. Trying to work out who's going to probably get past him. I presume he's probably going to lose at least 1 position. Looking at the timing boards, the gap's pretty close. Yeah, he might even drop down a little bit further. Mex might be able to take advantage of this. Possibly. Might be a bit of a stretch for Mex to get past, but really going to depend on how good Migsic can get that pit stop done. But speaking of possible mistakes, Zach is seemingly dropping away from that Porsche. You can barely see Borovec on the same shot as him anymore. Absolutely flying away is Borovec. So whatever has happened, whatever he's managed to, well, like we said, I think it's the tyres on that BMW are now really starting to show, and just maybe not quite so confident on the exit of turns, not being able to get the power down quite as quickly. And as we know, the Porsche really good on corner exit, that rear engine, rear drive configuration, giving it plenty of grip as it exits the turns. And there's quite a few turns here that favour it, to be fair, especially this final turn. It really seems to work well for the Porsche. Really seems to be able to get the power on.
The Porsche is a well-balanced car, especially in the corners. That's why you see a lot of guys driving the Porsche nowadays. But I mean, with the new BMW M4 that's come into the play, a lot of people have decided to try something new. And some people might actually be now like regretting their decision halfway through a season.
Possibly. I've just seen a yellow flag. I want to say it was car 96. But I think it might have just disappeared. So that car 96 is Migsic. I thought I saw a yellow flag. Maybe I am wrong. Whereabouts on track is car 96? He's just coming up towards Ascari. I might have been very wrong on that one, but I could have sworn I saw a yellow flag and I thought it was his number. Possibly my bad. Okay, 22 minutes and just over 30 seconds left of this race. We've already seen Borovec manage to take 3rd position away from Zach. He'd have to have a pretty gargantuan drive to be able to get much further up. Well, there's someone running slowly behind these guys. Oh, here we go. Right, so this is Djokic chasing after. Oh, big mistake there from Tonzetic, and I think that's going to be a change of position. Surely that is. What happened there? So just watching it now back on the replay. Yeah, it's got on the power a little bit too early and the back slid out on him. He managed to catch it and not end up in the gravel or the barriers, but loses the position. Oh, that's a real shame. Slight mistake, just got on the power a little bit too early. That rear-wheel drive BMW just started to step out, and he managed to, like we said, avoid the gravel, but that is a position loss. So down to 7th place for him. The only thing that might spur him on to make him feel a little bit better is he's probably going to gain the position from Migsic when he does his drive-through penalty, which I presume he is going to do and not try and take the penalty all the way to the end and take the time penalty. So I think it's 130 seconds, the penalty for ignoring a drive-through. If I might be making that up. I know it's fairly significant if you ignore a drive-through.
If I look at the rules, if you don't serve your drive-through in 3 laps, I'm standing to be corrected, but you get disqualified.
Okay, so I would say that Migsic is probably running out of laps to do his pit stop then. Because it was a little while ago that he picked up that drive-through. I want to say maybe this lap.
This is his final lap to serve the drive-through penalty.
So, is he going to do it? I really hope he does. Be a bit of a shame if he decides he's just going to throw it all away and just keep going. Obviously, disqualification would see him, well, disqualified, and obviously won't get any sort of decent points or anything. So it looks like he's hugging that inside line. Is he going to go for the pit? Surely you are. Yes, there he goes. Hard on the brakes, jumping in for his drive-through. So we'll see how many positions he loses. Already down into 6th, now down into 7th. So it'll be interesting to see how everyone else comes along. Oh, Mex passed him as well, down into 8th. So is Kristanic going to get past him as well in that number 3 BMW? I think possibly not. No, he's still coming around that final turn, although he might be able to get him coming down into turn 1. Just waiting for that throttle to go back down. Right, he's on the throttle there. But I think this is the BMW coming up beside him now. Yes, he loses another one. So he's down into 9th position. Not what he would have wanted at all. That's been a real stinker for him, but the track limits are there for a reason. Got to stick to them. So you see a lot of drivers in sort of real life GT3 always complaining about track limits. Spa's always been one of those circuits where people always complain about track limits, but you know, the racing circuit is to be stuck to. You can't go too wide. They'd only complain more if it was gravel trapped an inch off the track, but you know, it's something we deal with.
You can never please the driver at the end of the day.
No, you can't. I think it's always one of those arguments, especially if you look at something as divisive as Spa. I mean, you look at the work they're going through, what they've been going through to try and make Eau Rouge safe. Obviously, they've had to completely get rid of an entire lodge and completely rebuild that top part of the circuit. I know a lot of people saying that it's sort of ruining the track, but it realistically hasn't changed the circuit itself. It's just the runoff area is bigger, and it would just mean you're probably going to see even more drive-through penalties coming along for people breaking it. Because essentially, even though the cars are quicker, they should still be driving within track limits. And I do understand that obviously, if you're that one driver that's going a little bit slower to avoid incidents, but you know, if you drive a little bit slow to avoid incidents and you're down a couple of positions, you might gain it if someone gets a drive through just because they've pushed a bit too hard. It's, you know, oh, here we go, position change into turn 1. Is that turn 1? Yes, it is. So this is the two still. Oh, this is the brothers, isn't it? The brothers. No wonder I was getting myself confused. I was looking at second names and thinking, hang on a second, is something going wrong? So I believe that was Marco just getting past. So his car, wait for the timing board to go. Kind of a 7, I think, is in front now. So yeah, Marco takes the position away from his brother in the 2 that's still. Oh, big mistake from his brother there, Evo. Massive mistake. Took him way too much curb on the second part of the chicane and ended up flying across into the gravel. I think he just caught it on the replay there, possibly. So it looked like he just ended up taking a little bit too much curb when he tried to take the second part of the second chicane, putting him in the gravel on the outside. So be a bit of a shame. Those two guys were running side by side. Obviously there was damage at some point that we were looking at as well. So on one of those Mercedes, that's the word I'm looking for. Jag on the brain. Speaking of Jags, how is our man in the Jaguar getting on? He is still running 3rd in class and 11th place overall. Djokic, we're on board with now, running in 5th place. He's our leading AM driver. It's been a really good drive from Djokic, to be fair. Really nicely driven by him all evening. I don't think Djokic has picked up any penalties. You can probably tell me better. I don't think he's had any.
Now you're asking me to think.
Oh, come on. I mean, I'm trying to think most of the time. It doesn't work, but I'm trying to think most of the time.
No, I try and fail miserably. Yes, 74 did have a penalty against his name earlier in this race. So it hasn't been an exactly crystal clean race for 74.
No, but he's obviously made the best of it and is currently the AM leader, isn't he? Qualified in 10th place, and he was the 2nd place AM driver in qualifying. So got himself up into 5th place. That is a really strong effort to get himself up 5 positions overall. Like we said, he did have the penalty. Mex is definitely hunting him down, isn't he? That back of the BMW looming ever larger in the front view of the Mercedes. So Tom Zetic, oh, that's really being reeled in. That's slightly, oh my gosh, absolutely flying past. I almost want to say that did Tom Zetic maybe lift off ever so slightly there? It's not a battle for position in class, only overall. It looked like he got past that BMW with even more than expected. Max again, he's had the cleanest race, and obviously we saw him with penalties. And he dropped quite significantly back down the order. He's had a couple of off tracks, sorry. But now running in 6th place, so towards the end of this race, Jokic could be in trouble. Under 15 minutes left. Bit of a trek to go until he's right back up there on the front, but he's certainly pushing forward. So
I mean, he's still got 15 minutes to get P5, and every position for a pro driver at the end of the day is valuable positioning. And the nice thing is, some of these AM guys realize, they're not fighting for position in class, so they don't make it difficult for the pro drivers to pass.
No, it has been really good. I have seen a couple of times this evening that guys in different classes have been letting people through, or just making it slightly easier, just dipping off the racing line and just a little lift on the throttle. Not enough to ruin their lap or ruin their race, but just enough to give the pro guys a chance. But also seen some really quite respectful driving from the pro drivers. Obviously they want to push forward and get through the AM drivers as quickly as possible. Like you said, every position is important for the pro drivers, but they have been really good. They haven't just been flashing the lights and flying it behind them and expecting people to get out their way. They have been picking their way through the grid, getting themselves up reasonably cleanly. Obviously we've had some incidents, but for the majority of time it's been fairly clean. A bit of a shame to see that we've lost a fair few of the guys from the grid. I know we had who was it that we lost? It was Vucinic. We lost early in the race. He had a disconnect. Well, his game crashed, so we lost him early. So that was a bit of a shame. Apart from that, I think a couple of people had some pretty bad incidents and some crashes, and possibly decided to call it a day.
Sorry about that. I just saw a nerve-herring incident happening on the back straight.
Who was that between? I'm on board with Doyle at the moment and watching our pole man hammer it round.
With the number 12 McLaren and the BMW of Zach.
Ah, okay. Oh, that would have been a very bad incident, because they are nearly completely opposite ends of the grid, 17th and 4th place. Yeah. Sometimes being a back marker can be a little bit stressful, but your best bet is just stick on your racing line so you are obvious as to where you're going, and like we said, just wait for an opportunity, and then just, if you're on a straight, just off the throttle ever so slightly, let people through. It can sometimes be, oh, here we go, we've got Dakuza passing a back marker now, or trying to get past the back marker. That is the 3rd place AM driver, that Jaguar, coming through turn 3. The Jag, yeah, gets on the brakes early and lets Dakuza through. There we go, nicely done. And that's a nice way of doing it, just not overly impacting your own race, but just letting people through at the same time. We could have done it maybe a little bit earlier, make Dakuza's life a little bit less stressful coming into the chicane. But again, he, let him through with no incident. Seems to be the way to do it. And Dakuza still got that car on Wales this evening. Is just keeping it consistent, keeping it out of trouble. So there was an incident earlier on he managed to avoid, where he had cars spinning in front of him, and I don't know how he managed to avoid the pair of them. It was like a pair of Beyblades in front of him, and he just managed to get on the brakes and pick his way through. It was some beautiful stuff.
Yeah, there's always some good racing in this league. If it's Beyblades or Dragon Ball Z or there's always some good fun.
Yeah, so obviously, always trying to promote clean racing, but not just clean racing at the cost of exciting racing. It's a really nice mix of respectful hard racing here with ISDA. It's really good to watch. It's You see some of the, absolutely top drivers on when you watch them on YouTube, you jump on with some of your, your big top drivers. Oh, and I thought that was a mistake. It wasn't. It was just the track in the dark. It was a bit hard to see what was going on for a moment. You see some of these really top pro drivers that everyone knows, everyone follows, and you see them, and they're not the cleanest racers. They're really not. They are very fast. It has to be said. They are insanely fast, but they're not always the nicest people to be racing around, and I think that's what makes this community stand out miles apart from others, is the fact that everyone is so respectful. It's clean, hard racing, but not at the cost of either ruining someone's race, but you're not also driving around boringly just thinking, oh, I'll stay behind this person. Everyone gets stuck in, but everyone's on the same page, and it's really, really nice to see. It makes some really interesting, decent watching, and you're never disappointed that the guy you want to win suddenly gets punted on lap 2, and there's no can't think of the word. It's gone. I can't.
Repercussions.
That's the word. I just couldn't get the bit out of my mouth. I couldn't get the noise to work.
Well, all these drivers know that if they do cross the line, that there is a very, very big hammer. That's not lightly dropped, but it is always fairly dropped.
Exactly. I think that's the thing, is the penalties that come through, they never feel unjust. There's not been one time I've sat here in the commentary booth and thought, oh, that seemed a bit harsh, or oh, I would have gone the other way. Most of the time you look at it and you think, yeah, that seems about right. That seems about right. There's never a moment of questioning. It always seems to come through pretty well, and it's nice that obviously it's not just a case of that it appears on the screen and suddenly you go, oh, why have I got a 15-second penalty? What happened there? With the race control system that you guys use, obviously, got Mali coming in and using his big boy voice. It's nice, in advance, you're thinking, right, yeah, my incident's under investigation. Okay, there might be something coming, so it's not quite such a blow, and at least you know why you've got the penalty. If you've been involved in an incident that you caused, and then a lap later someone else hits you, and suddenly blindly a 15-second penalty appears, you might be like, well, hang on, did I get penalised for the second incident or the first one? It's really good that you guys go through and do it as it is in real life. You hear it come through, obviously, on on all the team radios and stuff. So it's really good. And also, again, people watching at home don't think they sometimes realise that race control comes through for every driver on the grid. You guys are in their ear when you come up and do the, this is race control, and go through, which I think is a really great way of doing it, and obviously means that you guys can use the safety car system, which isn't built in natively to ACC. It's something that you guys have put together yourself, which is, it's a big effort. Someone's got to sit there and be on standby to drive the safety car, which in our case is the bright yellow GT4 Audi. But again, someone's got to be there and willing to do it, willing to take up that seat and go out there.
Yes, and it's also a very stressful job, because you have to be ready on the drop of a coin. You can't go 1-0 off, get yourself a soda, sit back and relax. You have to be ready.
Yeah, so and you have to be aware that you may make a decision that is going to make someone really unhappy. That you could make a decision that is totally fair, but as far as the driver that receives a penalty, they might be really disappointed in it. Oh, a quick one that's coming up on screen: the battle for 5th place. Just under 6 minutes left, and Mex has caught up with the back of Djokic. So again, this isn't for position in class, so it'll be interesting to see how Djokic reacts. But it is for 5th overall. So Djokic might be thinking, no, I want to finish inside the top 5. Again, nothing really to gain from it, apart from the fact that he could finish inside the top 5. And when it comes down to being on circuit, sometimes you're just thinking to yourself, no, I want this position. I want, and he has the bragging rights to say, I beat, a couple of the guys that were right at the very sharp end of the grid earlier in the race. Djokic can say, on track, I beat Mex. That's a great effort. He's a pro, our driver beating a pro driver. So, something to put in his hat. little pin to put in there.
A little victory for him at the end of the day.
Exactly. I do think he's going to struggle though. I think where they're coming through now, just coming through that second chicane, and he's moved out of the way. Dab of the brakes, moved out of the way. There we go, and Mex flies through. So there we go. We thought he might try and hold on to the position. Nope. Realised it wasn't for positioning class, and he's let him come on through. So nicely done.
Very respectful.
Yeah, perfectly done, wasn't it? He just moved out the way, quick dab of the brakes, and then absolutely fine. It was a difficult part of the circuit to try and let someone pass. You know, obviously there's a whole complex of corners up through there, and they come through very quickly. So he did that about as well as it could possibly be done. But that does mean there is no barrier between him and Tom Zetic now, although that gap is pretty ginormous. The last time I looked, Tom Zetic was fairly long way behind. He is, let the timing screen sort itself, I want to say, is it 8 seconds? Yeah, about 8.5 seconds between them. So as long as he can keep up his current place, Tom Zetic, Jokic should finish in 6th place and first in class, and that'll be a real nice win for him here at Monza. Especially being 2 hours. Being a 2-hour race, I think makes it even more special, because it's not just like a mad dash to the finish. It's the full 2 hours. You know, it's a significantly larger amount of concentration and physical effort to put in as well. You think, you know, you're not able to get up and stretch your legs. You're in the racing seat. You've just got to keep going. You're a very brave man if you leave your seat during your pit stop, because half the time you don't have enough time to do anything. Maybe just grab your glass of water that you've got next to you and have a few gulps, and that's about all you can do. But that's about the only time you have. And as these guys that have pitted once, they've had essentially a minute during this entire race to have a drink, apart from if they're going to try and drink, you know, while driving. But some people do struggle to do things like that, to, you know, to concentrate on, you know, looking away, grabbing your sports bottle or whatever. Nearly 2.5 minutes left of this race. It's really wound down. I don't know where the last 2 hours have realistically gone. They seem to have absolutely flown away from us. So Doyle still out in front. I think he's led for all but one lap of this race when the Porsche of Borovec took away that lead very briefly on turn 1. I think, yeah, it was the next lap he took it straight back again and managed to hold on to it. Yeah, done absolutely fantastically. It was a later pit strategy by him on a single stop. Seemed to work really well for him. He didn't even lose position there in the pits. He's 0.3 down on his best time at the moment, but still lapping he's in 140. Last was a 1:49.5, so still less than 1 minute 50. So him and D'Acusa really doing this kind of time. Actually, next is still pushing forward quite hard, but not. Oh, fastest lap of the race has just come in 14th place, car number 7, 4th in class in the AM class. I believe that is that not Marco? Yes, Marco Miljelovic has just put in the fastest lap of the race in this stint anyway, a 1:48.795. So great effort by him. So it's got to be said. After this late in the race as well to put that kind of time in. Obviously, the fuel levels must be pretty low in that car to be able to do that kind of time.
And the raw pace of the Mercedes is now shining through.
Yeah. It does sound nice. It does sound really nice. I used to race the Audi as my main car that I used, and I recently switched over to the Mercedes. And I will admit, it's a very different noise, but it does sound great. The downshift on it will sound really good.
Nothing beats the Bentley. Nothing.
It's
noise.
Even though I'm a British guy, and so you'd think I'd be totally used to driving on the right-hand side of the car, I can't get used to driving on the right-hand side of the car. It's in-game, it just doesn't feel right. I find it really strange. I keep, nailing a curve or going off track, and I'm like, what on earth am I doing? It's like, oh, because the car's on the wrong side. So, yeah, I could get away with it if I went on bonnet cam, but that kind of just feels like blasphemy, really. 7 seconds left of this race, so our leader This is possibly going to be it. This is probably going to be him. Yes, he's coming on the final turn now. So on with as he comes towards the line.
Leader has finished the race.
There we go, straight across the line, clean and concise, beautifully done. I thought we might have even seen a flash of the lights or something, but no. So on board with Takuza, just now coming through Ascari, coming out the exit. Just got to hold it together for a few more turns, and then Takuza takes second place overall and second place in the Pro class. So here we go, final turn now, swings it in. Are we going to see any theatrics from him? Are we going to see a flash at the lights at least or something? But I think Doyle has just been in complete concentration mode and wasn't willing to flash. There we go. That looked like a little bit of a flash from Takuza there. Maybe that was just the camera angle. But great finish from him. Takuza would be really happy with that. Stretch comes across the line in his third position. So that's the podium in Pro class. Jokic still not seeing the checker flag as well, which he is running sixth overall. Here comes Zach across the line. Mixed fortunes for Zach this race, who would be probably pretty pleased with his fourth position after that lot. Max obviously third, so finishing in fifth. Not the best, but it could be a lot worse. Here comes Jokic. Round of that final turn, he's flashing the lights, he's happy with that. First in class, brilliant effort by him. Did a really, really good job this entire race. And there we go, got a couple of guys here cruising along together. Two Porsches. And it's a nice sight to see. Here we go, bit of camaraderie. They're not, who is this? This is Miss East, that they can both finish. And in fact, I think the safety car is going out for one lap. Who's at the safety car this evening?
It is our Spanish safety car driver, Alejandro.
Look at that beautiful bit of driving coming along here. Got to get one lap in, haven't you? You know, he's been sat there waiting the whole time. The entire time that this car has just been on launch control. It's just been pinging off the limiter this entire 2 hours, and so finally he gets to take it out and do one lap. And to be fair, he's given it a fair bit of grief. Oh, there's a very, very poorly looking Mercedes there at the side of the circuit. In fact, I don't think that car is going to see the line. So I wonder if he's run out of fuel.
Now all cars have
Oh no, it had seen them. Yeah, no, it has seen the checker. That's all right. For a moment, I didn't think that kind of a 998 had seen the checkers, but no, he had indeed. Great effort by everybody this evening, and say a couple of guys who sort of bailing out of the server now. That's a very valiant effort by the safety car, isn't it? Goodness gracious.
I think he hears you. He's also
the entire time. Yeah, he's going for it. There it is. Big celebrations. Even the GT4 Audi sounds good, doesn't it? I mean, it shouldn't sound... It's got no right in sounding that good, but it really does sound great. It's a good sounding little car. Oh, my timing board has... Because everyone's quit, my timing board has gone all over the place. So I was about to read out the final result, but I think it's having a bit of a wobble on my end. So, but as a great effort by the guys this evening. If anyone wants to jump in to the post-race interview box, feel free to come and join us. You definitely deserved it. Come and join us in the ready for an interview bit, and we will drag you in.
And that's my cue. Again, awesome commentary. Yes, I am. Well,
Thank you very much.
I am off.
Right, well, enjoy your little bit of peace and quiet and the chance to let your voice have a little break. Thank you ever so much for joining us and giving us, again, a nice second voice in the booth and some glorious insight into the race control. Feel free to leave whenever you feel is appropriate, but thank you ever so much for joining us, mate.
Always a pleasure.
Well, thank you ever so much for joining us. We're holding on for a little bit longer to see if any of the guys... Here we go. Here is someone. We've got our man in the Jaguar, I believe. We will drag this gentleman in and we'll have a quick post-race interview with him. I believe he ended up coming third in class, if this is the correct person. I'm really helpful. Everyone's Discord names are different to everyone's racing names, so it sometimes makes it ever so slightly difficult to make sure we've got the right person. But we will double check. I shall drag him in now. Good evening. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Good evening.
Fantastic. Can you just confirm that you are car number 68, the Jaguar?
Yes, is I.
Yep. No, that's all right. No worries. It's the Discord name is different to the in-game name, so I always like to quickly double check. Your Jaguar this evening did insanely well. I mean, not only did you pilot the car fantastically and got third in AM class, so great effort there, but in a straight line, that Jaguar is unbelievable. Have you been holding out hope for this race?
I take a risk. I put the rear wing to the 0, engine mount to 1, and that's it.
So
Just
literally, you just
straight line speed.
I mean, it worked for you. It worked fantastically for you this evening. I say the sheer pace you had was truly ridiculous. It was great. I mean, and for the fact that you say you were running the rear wing on minimum aero, I mean, that really shows the car control you had with that Jaguar, because there's a couple of corners here where a bit of rear aero can help you sort of keep it together. It's a great effort. Did you go for it was a 2-stop for you, wasn't it?
Not planned. I crashed on the outside of the Ascari chicane, I think. I was trying to manage my pressure for the pit stop on the tires in the bad corner, and then I crashed it badly. I have a 15 seconds repair of it, and then I immediately, after the Parabolica, go into the pit and take a maximum amount of fuel, change the tires, and get out of it. Also done that 5 seconds that I have penalty for cutting the track and gaining advantage.
Yeah. I mean, that 5-second penalty compared to a lot of other guys was a fairly small penalty. We saw a drive through, a stop go 30, a couple of 30-second penalties. So I think that was the smallest penalty we saw across the evening. But even though you had the crash, so you had to pit more than you were expecting. You were running no rear aero essentially, and you picked up that little penalty. I mean, and you still got third overall. Well, third in class, sorry, which is stunning.
Yeah, I done a second second pit stop for splash and dash just to take a fuel, because it was not enough fuel in it to down to the end.
Okay, right, yeah, I get you. Yeah, not quite enough. Was that, like you said, that was a mistake, just not quite enough because of obviously you had the incident? Real shame. But I mean, still, third in class is fantastic on the podium. A really strong effort, and we did enjoy seeing the Jaguar bring back its dominance. Obviously, it's not. Well, I think it's the only racing series I've seen it in, that I've ever streamed or raced in, that I've ever seen anyone using the Jag. So to see it making such a good effort here, especially at Monza, was brilliant to see. Are you looking forward to the next race?
Yeah, of course. Yes.
Fantastic.
I will try to do my best in this car. It is very difficult to handle it. Very difficult.
Yeah, I mean,
gave me just advantage because it has a lot of straights. In the corners, it is a little bit tricky to manage it.
Yeah, I've heard quite a few people say that it's a little bit of a wild one. So we're at Hungaroring next time round, so that might be a tricky track for the Jag. I think you might not be able to get away with running minimum aero. You might have to run just a little bit of aero this time. Next time round, just slightly. But I mean,
the bad thing with the Hungaroring is that it has a corner that is on the 90 degrees that Jagger doesn't like.
So
Kane doesn't like, and that short corners it doesn't like.
Also, it might struggle in Sector 2 next week at Hungaroring. Obviously, you've got the chicane, then you've got quite a few.
Very, very close.
But you never know. As long as you can get in front and then you can stay nice and wide through those areas, then at least no one else can get past you.
Yeah, eventually, it's not a small car.
But I mean, and like I said, really consistency on your part as well. I think made a real difference. We'd seen a couple of guys sort of making a few mistakes throughout the race that ended up putting them off. So I really think the fact that you like you said, obviously you did have your one incident, but apart from that, you stayed pretty clean. I think that makes a big difference. I'm going to quickly ask a question. Do you own an Opel Kadett?
Yes, I do.
So cool. I had obviously in the UK there are Astras. I had a Mark II Astra. And
Mark II. Yeah. The top one.
So good. Yeah, love them. I absolutely love them. Mine was poverty spec. It was only a 1.3, but I'd messed around with the carb and it was lowered and all that stuff. But yeah, loved it. I looked at your image and I was like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
I know that front end. So wicked.
Yeah, it is the one with the intercooler in the front.
Is it a GSI or?
Yeah, it's a GSI with the 2-liter turbo petrol engine from the Calibre.
Oh, the red top. Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
Amazing. Sorry for
20 brake horsepower.
Did you say 320?
Yeah, 50 Newton meters of torque. Yeah,
Good lord. Right, I think we've discussed the race. We've discussed my love of old Vauxhalls and Opels. So thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. I think there's no one else stacked up for an interview. So have you got any last words to say before we end the interview?
Just to thank you for the nice words and encouraging to drive that Hungaroring to give it the best.
Yeah, absolutely no problem. It's been a pleasure watching everybody race for the last 2 hours. I say my voice is pretty destroyed and my eyes feel like they might have scabs over them. But it's been an absolute joy to watch, regardless of the various bits of discomfort. But I say thank you ever so much for joining us, and much looking forward to seeing you next week at Hungaroring. So see you on Thursday.
See you. Bye.
Bye. Right, so a quick reminder, obviously the GT3 Winter Series is back on Thursday and we're at the Hungaroring. It's no longer, it's not a endurance race this time around. I believe it is just 60 minutes. Yes, it is. But before that, we again have the Super Trofeo Winter Season. So that is in the Lamborghini Super Trofeos. That is every Tuesday throughout March, starting on the 8th, and that is a 15-minute qualifying and a 45-minute race. A little bit more casual. There won't be any live stewarding like there is here, and there won't actually be a stream, but it just means that the staff can get involved as well. So it'll be a chance for everyone to meet the full community. So thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. Do come back next Thursday for even more close racing at the Hungaroring. It's been a pleasure.